Here, morning show. Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you're doing all right. Bob Cooney here. Middays, thanks for joining us. We got Amy Fadul with us. Did we change the sign? We did change the sign.
Yes.
We got Ray Dunn producing. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you always. It's funny, when the morning show gets done, we like to have our long conversations and stuff like that. Sometimes they get to be too long. Yesterday, Amy, you weren't here. I was yelling at them to get out. I accidentally had the on button before we started the show, so hopefully we didn't interrupt anything. So how are you? Are you all good?
I'm great.
Busy weekend for you? You had concerts, you had parties, you had hosting duties.
We had all kinds of stuff going. Chris Stapleton on Thursday. I had a nephew graduation down in Northern Virginia. Then we had the end of the year baseball party at our house on Sunday. Lots to do.
I love it.
Great weather on Sunday for the party.
Oh, yeah. We've had a string of really good weather.
Yes, we've been very lucky.
Yeah. So hopefully that keeps going, because this is my favorite time of the year. Supposed to get really hot coming up this weekend, so get ready for it. They're talking upwards of 90s. I will not be with you all on Friday, just to let you know in advance, because I have some family obligations that I have to take care of. So
I'll be here.
Yeah, Amy, you'll be here, and I think you and Bill Colarulo will be running the show. But we are staying in the moment, because that's what I like to do, Amy. I don't look too far ahead in my life. I'm more of a day-to-day guy, as you know. I'm not a big planner out. But we can't plan out the show until we get through the front page.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
Man, you know the dog days are coming when you go to fill out the front page and you're scrambling for some stuff, Aim. But we do what we do, and here's where we are. Your Phillies tonight. This just shows how much fun this team is this year. I think not only for me, obviously, but for everybody. I was out of my mind last night with boredom because there was no Phillies game.
Oh, yeah.
So last night's trash night. So normally when I'm about to sit down and watch Phillies, I say, I'll go out and take out the trash. Now, taking out the trash to me is like a little bit of an event, because I take out my neighbor's trash, make sure everything's okay, because I have older neighbors around. Last night I go to take out the trash, and there's cardboard. Two big things of cardboard. So I'm like, oh, cool, I got something to do. So I get out the knife and stuff and start slicing that up and all. That's what I had to do to get by not having a Phillies game
Break down your cardboard boxes.
Yeah, and I thought, wow, this is cool. What do I do with the 2.5 hours? But anyway, the Phillies are back tonight, 7:10 at Boston. Red Sox holding a 33-33 record right now. Great advantage for the Phillies. You come back from a tough road trip, obviously a fun one, but a tough one, and you got Zach Wheeler going, which is awesome. He goes against Cutter Crawford. Cutter Crawford, a righty. Phillies are finally going against a righty. He's 2-5 on the year with a 3.51 ERA. Some interesting stats here on him. He started 13 games this year. The Red Sox are 3-10 in those games, and they have lost the past 6 starts by Cutter Crawford. So keep an eye on that. The Phillies, they're 7-2 in Wheeler's last 9 starts. When the Phillies have Wheeler starting and they lose the game, not that Wheeler loses, but they lose the game, they're averaging just 2 runs in those games. So keep an eye on the offense tonight. No one in the division played yesterday for the Phillies, so they are 9 up on the Braves, 15 up on the Nationals, 16.5 up on the Mets, and 23 up on the Marlins. I'm sorry, but those numbers this morning, when I actually wrote them down, it kind of put things into perspective of how good things are. The Yankees won last night, so they're now 47-21. What does that mean? They have a .691 winning percentage. The Phillies at 45-20 have a .692. You know what that means? They're still the best team in baseball right now. I didn't say it.
I know. I thought you were going to.
I know you were. All right, tomorrow at 7:10, you got Christopher Sanchez going against former Philly Nick Pivetta. Thursday, also a 7 o'clock start in Boston, Aaron Nola versus Tanner Houck. Tanner Houck's good, 6-5 record, but he's got a 1.91 ERA, so that's going to be a nice pitching matchup. And then, of course, they're going to spend the weekend in Baltimore. Baltimore's such a good young team. Really like watching them play. Ray and I were talking about last night how he was watching. Oh, no, you were disappointed last night, Ray. I'm sorry I didn't get to you earlier, but you were talking to Connor. You were watching in an establishment, and they didn't put on the Orioles game?
No, they took it off for the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh, okay. I only watched a little bit of the Orioles game last night.
I would have wanted to watch the end of that one.
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of the Stanley Cup final game. I saw Edmonton score first. Then I saw Florida tie it on a real nifty play, really cool drop pass and all that. Then I saw Florida go up 2-1. Then I was kind of going back and forth, and Florida just overtook that game. But we'll get into that a little bit more later. But your weekend in Baltimore, Suarez, Taijuan Walker, Wheeler. And I'm going to talk to Amy about Taijuan Walker in a little bit because I was really satisfied with more than just one thing with him, his outing this past weekend. Sixers, I want to talk to Amy about this. Does the Danny Hurley decision to stay at Connecticut, does that affect the rest of the NBA at all? Especially, forget the NBA. Does it affect the Sixers at all? We'll take a closer look at that a little bit later. June 26th is the NBA draft. So what's today's date? Like the 11th? So a little over 2 weeks away for the NBA draft. What are we expecting? What are we looking for? Do the Sixers stand pat? Is that definitely a movable pick? Like, just in general, what do you think might happen there? Eagles, big news. Training camp's a month and a half away. That's all I'm going to say on the Eagles. On the national front, the NHL, Florida's up 2-0 with their 4-1 win over Edmonton. As I said, that goes back to Edmonton. Pretty impressive by this Florida Panthers team and Sergei Bobrovsky. They've given up 1 goal in 2 games to the Edmonton Oilers. To Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, that is very, very impressive. NBA Game 2 tomorrow night at Dallas with Boston up 2-0. A lot of people have just written this off already. I said I don't remember if you were here, Aim, but after Game 1 when Boston won, I said I never do this. This series is over. You weren't here. It was Friday.
I wasn't, no.
I told Ray. I said that's it. I never proclaimed something like that, but I was convinced Dallas had to win that Game 1 in some kind of a way that assured themselves that they could win in some kind of a way. I think that series is just about done. All right, so there you have it. There's the front page. It's like an old Saturday Daily News where it's a smaller paper, but it is what it is, and that's where we are because it is that time of the year. Raymond, how are you today? Is everything well? I couldn't get to you earlier, as I said, because Connor just wouldn't leave you alone when I was doing introductions earlier, but you're good?
I'm doing wonderful. It's good to be here.
Your roommate, who we talked to last week, Zach, got back from England yesterday. He and his girlfriend, everything's okay?
They are great. Very tired, but great.
Okay. I would assume that they brought back something from England for you?
They did. They brought back a program from the game, so that was cool. It was very nice of them.
That's okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
They didn't give you anything else?
No, not anything else.
What would you want him
I thought Ray told me earlier that they brought back 2 gifts for him, but
just
maybe
a program.
Maybe one. Maybe it was only one. Maybe he doesn't want to share what the other one was. I don't know.
It was just a program.
Did they bring you back that scratch on the face, or what happened there? Were you sleeping and one of them got mad at you and decided to swipe at you?
I don't know. I don't know how the swipe on the face happened. I just my face is scratched. I understand that today my appearance is making a lot of waves in this radio station. I'm just here, man. I'm just here to do my job.
I didn't even think of that. I don't know if you were here for all this, Ames. So, Ray and I went down, got coffee, came back. Somebody said, you got a scratch on your face. I did notice it, but I didn't. I'm a guy who's so scarred up. I don't know. Who cares? But somebody said, and then other people were making, John particularly, was going ape bleep crazy about what, your outfit or your
so John said today? I look casual today. This comes after Andrew had said that I started to dress better for your midday show than I did for his midday show. I can't please the morning show in terms of my attire.
You can't win.
I'll tell you who you please all the time, Ray. This guy right here.
That's so nice of you to say.
Yeah.
We got 4 hours to prove that differently.
It doesn't matter what you're wearing or if you're wearing anything at all. You please. That didn't come out.
That did not. Let's go back to the sports. Back to the sports.
Yeah.
The Phils, they're great.
They're fun.
Hey, how about that?
Fun one.
So it's funny because I was thinking about this a lot this weekend. And I thought the weekend was great, Aim. And we haven't had a chance to talk to you since it all went down. You win one, you lose one. I'm not going to say I don't care. Sure, you wanted to win both. And yet, you come away from Sunday's game, for me, for a half second, go, damn, that would have been better. But it's over with. I thought the London experience was absolutely great.
I thought it was fabulous. I thought Philly as a whole represented themselves so well, from the team down to the hundreds of thousands of fans that looked like they were across London. I mean, there was easily 80-20 as far as percentages go. You heard the Mets fans occasionally, but I thought Philadelphia as a whole. The Phillies looked great. And I thought the fans looked great. Everything I thought was just exceptionally well done. It looked like everybody really enjoyed the experience. And I like seeing all the players that came over and came back. There was a lot of just overall Major League players that were there, but then you see all of the 08 Phillies that were in attendance, and I thought that was really cool.
I thought it was cool on Sunday. Also, they showed Tom McCarthy, and talking to Larry Boa, and just talking baseball. And we talked to Tom yesterday, and he told us what a special time it was over there. And this team, I don't know if they need bonding because they are so close and we've heard about it. But a trip like this can only go towards enhancing that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've got 162 games. These guys play almost every single day. A trip like this where you have the breaks where they can not only spend time with one another but also with their families, I think goes a long way in increasing that bond. This is a team that's already very close. We've seen that evidenced by the wins, the way they speak about one another. But you can't take anything. Why would you not look for another opportunity to increase that bond? And I think this was another really good opportunity for that. We saw all the coaches going out. They were all at a bar together. I thought that, like, stuff like that, you don't see every day. You don't see Rob Thompson hanging out with all of his coaching staff in that kind of way, doing the cheers and everything like that. I thought those things were really fun to see.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been around coaches that when you're on the road, they're looking to kill time somehow. And it might be going for long walks. Like Doug Collins loved going for long walks. And Brett Brown was a jogger, and he loved to do that. And, Jimmy Lonham would go out to different stores and all that. And there's just there's ways to kill time that they like to do it. I love, and this has nothing to do with my Irish Catholic, maybe like to have a beer once in a while background. I love that Rob Thompson needed to stay up some extra hours because he wanted to get his body right when he got over there. It wasn't a run. It wasn't a what. Man, maybe he did that beforehand. But he went over to the Passyunk Avenue bar and just had a toast with everybody. I'm telling you, and I could be as naive as anybody, I think that means as much as just about anything as far as a 162 season goes.
Yeah, I mean, when these guys have their all-star break, they all kind of scatter, right? And I think this was like a chance for them to have a bit of a break together. You just don't get to have that in the middle of the season. You don't get to have this kind. Maybe like 1 or 2 off days you might catch up with one of the players you're closer with or that they live near you. If you're on the road, maybe you get that opportunity if there's a random day in between, like if you arrived early. But you just don't have this kind of gap where you get over there and you have 2 basic days when you're looking at Thursday and Friday to kind of sightsee and hang out with everybody. And those opportunities are it's almost like a reward of like, thanks for everything you've done. Thanks for everything you're continuing to do. Like let's get this thing across the finish line type of vibe. And I think anybody that's worked for any kind of company, any of these kind of little team building type of vibes that you can create are always going to go a long way when you really need them to pay off.
Yeah. Now, I brought up Taijuan Walker earlier and, his performance on Sunday this weekend. Now, I know you were hosting here, but I'm sure you went back and watched the game because that's what Amy Fadul does when she's not having breakfast with her family or dinner with her family and doing home run derby things, whatever. But so Taijuan Walker, to me, and I didn't talk about this yesterday because I specifically wanted to talk about it with you, he looked different. He looked totally different. Now, they talked to Rob Thompson, I think it was before the game, and Thompson said, it might have been during the game. It was the sideline thing during the game. And he said, we saw some things. We had some sessions with him, and we had extra bullpen with him to try to fix some things. I'll just tell you, I thought Taijuan Walker by far looked not only better than he has all year, looked more comfortable.
That's the key.
Really?
That's what I thought. When I watched it, and the numbers will back up some of what you saw, but really for me, the eye test, he's been a guy that doesn't seem to be as confident and as comfortable. And I know we've talked about it, the percentages of going down of as far as him using certain pitches, the splitter and things like that. He hasn't been using them. That's a confidence issue. You're not going to them because you don't believe in them. So when they're working on certain things, I thought he looked a lot more comfortable out there, a lot more relaxed. And whatever they tweaked, maybe it was something with his approach. Maybe it was something, mentally as much as it was physically, when he's having those moments where he would get a little bit tight. And you could always kind of tell, I don't say always, but you could tell, I think, at times in the previous couple of starts where he would start to tense up.
Yeah. Oh,
You
it was
you could
so
see it.
noticeable.
You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
And you didn't see that. And I felt like this was a start that a lot of, obviously everyone's watching, period, but you were watching, all right, let's see what he's got, because they went with him. They didn't skip him. They didn't do anything crazy like an opener or whatever else over there. They're going with Walker. And I thought for all intents and purposes, that was, I would agree, probably his best outing of the year.
Made Larry Bowa look like a genius.
Yeah,
And who
said,
told us on the Monday
"Just
before,
wait.
calm down.
Just
It's
wait."
a long season. Let him go. I love that. I think there was one, maybe two, strikeout-looking pitches where he threw it and like kind of kicked his leg. Like as soon as it was taken, he
Like
knew
he
it
knew
was a
it.
strike and was kind of turning around like, "Yep, I got this today."
That's a good comfort level.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought a lot of things should have been rectified with fans or maybe eased up with fans as far as, okay, if that's not the lesson of it's a 162-game season, the fifth starter is what we're talking about. I mean, I wanted to grab what Larry Bowa said to us at the Brian Dawkins golf outing 2 Mondays, or last Monday it was, and play it for everybody. And
That's
just say,
exactly
like,
what he said.
This is where you are. Don't worry. Let it go. And it'll lead me to my first question that we're going to throw out there today, because I thought of this as I'm watching Taijuan Walker, like, oh, God, don't overreact. Like, don't forget what he is or what you thought he was, and you got to be a little bit patient with it. Then, later on in the game, they bring in Soto. And, they wanted to bring in a left-hander, and I'm sure it went through a lot of our minds as we talked about yesterday. Ugh, why not bring in Strom here? But my first thought after that was, okay, it's 162. He has to get Soto righted. Soto hasn't been good.
No.
He just hasn't been good. And we had a lot of YouTubers, great YouTubers yesterday saying, look, he's never been all that good except since he's come over here.
Right.
I didn't mind it. I'm okay taking a look at it, understand if it doesn't get better, maybe something has to be done. But where do you stand as far as standing pat on this team? Or something needs to be done? Because, you have a trade deadline that's coming up in the future or whatever. You still have plenty of time to look at this team. I'm aiming more of the ilk of, I still want the guys that you brought here a chance. I heard talk on this station last. Whit Merrifield? Get rid of him. Wait, what? Like, he's hardly had any playing time. I mean, he's gotten some decent amount, but no, it's too long of a season. So what? You get rid of a Whit Merrifield, you bring somebody else in. What if they're the same thing? I would rather give Whit Merrifield a chance to grow into that. He was an all-star last year. Get that hot part of the season that he had last year that made him an all-star. Are you more of a stand pat, let's look what you have with this team now, 45-20, or do you think there's moves that have to be made?
Yeah, I think that's the clarity right there. Do they have to be made? No. I think this team, obviously, as constructed, is very good. But no, I think I would like to make at least one move. I think an extra bullpen arm, given what I've seen from Soto, would be helpful. I didn't like that he went to him. I know why he went to him. But the leverage situation to me was a little too high for what Soto has shown.
I love your high leverage, low leverage.
That's what I need.
I do. I do love that. You've brought that into mind.
And I think that is something you think about. Strom, great at high leverage. But to your point, it is 162. These guys do have to get work. And so let's see what Soto can give them. I don't have any problem with Whit Merrifield because I agree with you. Who else? Okay, so you get another, it's a utility guy.
Yeah.
He can play a lot of places, infield, outfield. He's a bat. Look, okay. Is there someone else out there that you're like, well, this guy's really going to blow our socks off and he's going to come here and bat 350? Probably not. That guy's not out there. Nothing wrong with Whit Merrifield for the role that he plays, given the fact that he plays so many different positions. And I think that he can start to hit a little bit more. But I would like a better, like at least one option, a little bit better than Soto in the bullpen. So not a lot of changes for me, but I would like one.
All right, if from now until trade deadline, Soto gets, I don't know, when is the trade deadline exactly, right? Do you have it off the top of your head or about? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said exactly, but.
Like end of
July,
like 29th or
right.
something like
So
that.
I would assume Soto's probably going to get, let's say, 5 to 8 more outings. And say he looks decent in those outings.
No.
You're still not okay with it. But see, my thinking
but
is
if they don't do anything, I'm also fine with that.
Okay. Because
it's really
you have Kirkring.
Yeah,
you have
it's only
Hoffman.
one little tiny it'd be really nice if they had this. And if they don't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Right.
It's a very well constructed team. The bullpen has been excellent. It's like worrying about Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker come October will not be a worry because
Sure, you don't need him.
Exactly. So come October, you're not going to need Soto. So if they don't do anything, great. They have enough other bullpen arms to be fine with it. But if you're asking, is there one move that I might make, just one tiny one, it would be an extra arm.
Well, that's interesting how you labeled it. Just one tiny one. If there's a move to make just one, that might show how good this team is. It might show the patience we should have. Where do you stand on it? Because I also saw a tweet over the weekend saying that they have to get a bopping outfielder. They have to go out and get a bopping outfielder because you can't live when Brandon Marsh is returning. You can't go with an outfield from center over to left that is made up of Pache, Marsh, and Rojas. You need a bopper out there. What do you think? Do you think the Phillies need to make a big change come the trade deadline or, whatever? Or do you think it's more, just be patient with what you have? Larry Bowa kind of taught us a lesson last Monday, I thought, about when we were all up in arms about Taijuan Walker. And he said, guys, relax. It's 162. He's a fifth starter. You're okay. Larry might just be right if Taijuan Walker continues to be what he was last Saturday. All right, we have that and a whole lot more. We're so glad you joined us here. Amy's going to be here with us all day. Ray Dunn producing. Wait, what is Ray Dunn? Ray Dunn is the...
What do you mean?
We need the adjective today,
the adjective. Stupendous.
The stupendous Ray Dunn producing. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, middays on this beautiful Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day. Started out great. Like when I was driving in, it was gorgeous. And then a little while ago, I was walking down the hallway to do some things, and it looked like it was clouding up a little bit. But supposed to be nice over the next few days, and a hot heat wave. It's coming, Aim. We're talking 90s this weekend. Yeah.
Big time heat wave.
Yeah, so
I'm here for it. Do you like heat wave? I like the hotter
Aim?
the better for me. I'm the weirdo.
Kincade will tell you, I love sweating.
I'm always the
love
person,
being outside
I'd
sweating.
rather be hot than cold.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love the heat. I love being outside in it. I love like walking on the sand when it's burning your feet that you can get to the ocean and put them in if, you know, you're lucky enough to be able to get down the shore, which is funny. I know we have a couple of days. We were supposed to go down for a week this year, but we had to cancel it. But I know we have a couple days planned for the shore, but I started getting a little depressed the other night because I was texting with Ray, who, like, you know, he's the king of the shore. Like,
yes.
You know, when Ray walks in, the shore officially begins. And I was getting a little jealous. Like, Ray's probably put in more days down the shore this summer already than I might even get in down the shore. So I was a little
You don't think you're going to go? I mean, well, I guess he has been there a lot, though.
Yeah, we'll do days here. And I know we have plans with friends and stuff like that. I'm just not good at that stuff. I'm horrible at knowing what the plans are. But so Ray let us know something on Friday, Aim, that you weren't here for. And that's that he does not pay attention nor look at all to see what the weather's going to be. Not a little bit. Doesn't look. He says, look, somebody's always going to tell me.
At any point of
no
the
point.
seasons?
No point. He says someone will always let him know. If there's a storm coming, someone's going to say, like, oh, we're supposed to get 8 inches of snow tomorrow. Right? I say, oh, okay. I didn't know that. He says it's summer. I said, what if it's a summertime, like, you know, how do you know how to dress, whatever? He goes, I just assume it's going to be 80 and sunny. Surprise there. So I, you know, short sleeve and shorts.
He doesn't care about getting rained on, clearly, as we learned from the trip to Camden.
Correct. That's true.
He says if it rains, he'll just run in and get a jacket or whatever. I brought up the what if you go somewhere, and he's like, well, somebody will probably tell me. So he doesn't look at weather.
Now I know there's a heat wave coming. So thank you. I appreciate what your contributions to my life.
Well, you know what my contributions have been. So this weekend, what I did, Amy, when I got up on Saturday morning, I copied the weather for that day.
No,
where Ray?
Yeah, I got like 3 or 4
it's your own
screenshots
personal
of
weatherman.
So I sent him the day weather. Then about 6 o'clock that night, I sent him the night weather. Same thing the next morning. Same thing the next afternoon. Yeah, so I took care of my boy.
So you don't even look. So if you're going to the Phillies game, you don't even look to see maybe.
Especially a Phillies game. Think about what I do here. If there is weather in the forecast for a Phillies game, it is the buzz of the office here.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, you think it's weird too.
Yeah, people don't talk to me about the weather. I have to always look.
You don't seek out that conversation. That conversation finds you.
Yeah, it doesn't find me. I find like so. I'll even do the sports on NBC 10, and I'll walk away being like, "Ooh, I should have probably paid attention to the weather that came right before me because I have no idea what it's going to be tomorrow."
All right, so here's an example. Amy had a concert that she was going to with a bunch of friends on Friday, and they were all coming to her house, getting into a bus. They were going to have fun. There's no way you didn't look to see what the weather was going to be like.
Yeah, because people wanted to see if you could if they wanted to wear ponchos, which I'm anti-poncho, but just because they stick to you and they're annoying. But you needed to be prepared.
Right.
For tailgating purposes, concert purposes.
Exactly. You wouldn't have looked, Ray.
Someone would have brought it up.
Okay.
This is the whole point. I don't need to be the one that goes and looks because someone's going to bring it up.
Okay. There's one word that I don't think any of us can use when we talk about any of us. And I'm talking Delaware Valley and beyond. I might even be talking to fans over in England right now of the Philadelphia Phillies. The one word you can't use when you're talking about the Phillies this year is hate. You can't use it. However, our first caller of the day, Sylvia in South Philly. Sylvia, you can't be wanting to use the word hate. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hi, guys. First-time caller.
Thank you for calling.
I guess I shouldn't use the word hate.
Okay, good.
It's just I feel like every time I'm at a game and Alvarado comes in, I have to get up and move out of my seat and go to somewhere because to me he is so inconsistent. He's trying to throw. Okay, he throws 100 miles an hour. But if the pitch is not accurate, why are you throwing it? Just you're hitting people, you're throwing it over the catcher's head. You're losing games for us. And I think last year he just lost so many games. Got a little better now. Everybody's happy, but he still scares the crap out of me. I don't think.
All right. Sylvia, first of all, you're doing fantastic for your first call.
Great first
call.
call.
You're doing great.
I love it.
However, your content, I have some problems with. So, first game of the year, he gave up 5 runs. This past game, he was not good. You're absolutely right. Do you want to know that in the 28 games in between, he allowed 4 earned runs in 26 and 2/3 innings? Sylvia, that's a 1.35 ERA.
I know. I just don't trust him. How about last year? All the mistakes that he made last year.
That's okay. Don't think about last year. Just go back to this year. It's a good year. We got to use all good adjectives when we're describing this team, Sylvia. It'll make you feel better.
I'll try. But you'll have to leave the room when he's pitching because I just can't watch him.
Well, just turn the sound up when he comes in tonight so you can hear it, okay? You can still leave the room.
Okay.
Listen, I'm all about superstitions. If it's better for you to leave, and if he does
I'll leave the
well,
room.
then you can just hear it, and you can be in the next room, and you can hear when he gets the save, and you'll think that's good. But now that you realize once you commit to that, Sylvie, though, that's your MO.
Yeah, you have to do it.
You got to do it. That's okay. That's okay.
All right, and we've changed the narrative now. You don't hate the hefty lefty. You get concerned when he comes in the game.
Scares her.
I'm concerned. I'm writing it right down now, so I will repeat that.
Atta girl. Hey, listen, we love talking to you. Don't be afraid to give us a call again, okay?
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sylvia. Appreciate it. All right, there we go.
See? Talked her off a ledge a little bit.
Sometimes we have to do a little conversion.
You can be concerned. That's okay. But that's where we're the level at. We're concerned with a closer, if that's what he is.
Yeah.
Whose ERA is still sub 2, and in the last 28 appearances, you said it's under 1.4.
If you don't count last game against the Mets, which we just saw in England, and you don't count the very first game of the season, in 28 appearances, he has 11 saves. He's given up 4 earned runs for a 1.35 ERA. I don't know. I think I'm going to take that.
Yeah, and he's only walked in those 28 appearances in between. He's only walked more than one batter once.
Yeah, he had 2 walks the other day and 2 walks in the first game. So in the 28 games in between, he's had 8 walks.
I mean,
his numbers are pretty amazing.
I
it's
get
funny.
What she's saying because, sometimes he just throws hard and it doesn't hit the location, and sometimes it hit the, we saw him, he was hit people. Hit batsman, but I feel like his stuff actually looked okay. He missed some spots.
He wasn't crazy wild. He missed some spots by a little bit.
I'll
the
take
pass
that.
ball, did they rule that a pass ball, or it had to be? Because Realmuto got his glove on it where he kind of had to.
I think they did call it a pass.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard catch.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, but it's funny. Is that kind of recency bias by Sylvia, which is understandable? That's fine. That's what makes you a fan. That's great. But do we scrutinize maybe this is just popping into my head. Do we scrutinize maybe too much when a team has only lost 20 games out of 65 so far?
Because we're looking for things to like almost tell us why we shouldn't be as excited. We're not used to having nice things. You know that.
Yeah.
So we look for the 5th starter, the backup catcher, the closer, non-closer. When has he had, shown some fault? All right. Okay. Soto. I'm like harping on, you got to get me another option for Soto. Like, really? It's like the 8th guy that I would even think about going to in the bullpen.
Well, if you break it down even more, he's your second left-handed reliever that you would go to. That's how good things are. And I saw your mic on, Ray. Did you have a kind of a response to what Sylvia had to say?
Yeah, Alvarado. I mean,
we were being nice.
Yeah, he's been here since 2021. He's got, I think, 9 blown saves and 8 losses that have been attributed to him. He's not losing you games. He's never been losing you games. He's got a 2.77 ERA over the last 3 seasons. That's not just a nice little stretch. That's 3 seasons worth of play right there. And you give all the stats over the last 20 games. He's been great for you over this stretch. He's been one of your more consistent relievers over the last 3 years. And in baseball, one of the more consistent relievers. His strikeout rate's near the top of baseball over the last 3 seasons. What they found in him is a revelation. He came here and became a guy. It's the exact opposite of what we all saw for almost a decade here, where a bullpen arm came to Philadelphia and they forgot how to pitch. This guy has become an elite reliever for this team. It was one bad outing. Right now, his season, you've got a bad first outing and a bad most recent outing. Aside from that, he's been one of the best relievers in baseball. And even with those, he's still been one of the best relievers in baseball.
But you know what? Somebody like Sylvia, and there's many, many of us out there, and I include myself, when you get that little stink in your head about somebody, it ain't going to change. I could have given Sylvia numbers from here to eternity about Jose Alvarado's goodness,
yeah,
and it wouldn't change her mind.
That's her eye test, though. That's when perception is reality.
And,
for those people.
I don't blame her at all.
That's
we
fine. That's how
all
it
have
works.
that player in our head. Good or bad, we don't care about numbers.
As soon as they come up, you're like, oh.
Exactly. We all get that player in our head, and it's kind of funny.
It is funny.
And this year, look how like you were talking about the second left-handed reliever.
That's where we're
talking about the Phillies went out and got the best available utility player out there, who was an all-star last year in Whit Merrifield. You paid $8 million for him. I'm fine with Whit Merrifield. I really am. And I don't know if Larry Boas has really rubbed off on me when we talked to him last week, but I do find and 45-20 says something also. Like this weekend, that game, my patience level with this team is absolutely fine.
They won 45 games before they lost their 20th game.
Yeah.
When's the last time that happened? I can tell you it's been decades. You're going back decades and decades when they had that kind of record.
So remember I told you last week we were going to do an exercise where we play scoreboard watching.
Yes.
And I was going to watch the Braves because, that's close to the Phillies. From Monday, now we updated it yesterday. Mm-hmm. Monday a week ago, the Phillies were only up 6.5 on the Braves.
Now they're up 9.
This Monday, they were up 9. Next Monday, it might be double digits. Although Phillies have a tough road to go here. In Boston, that's a tough place to play always. And then going to Baltimore, I'm really looking forward to that series too. We talked to Tom McCarthy yesterday. He brought up that Chicago was in England last year, and the Phillies played Chicago in Chicago right when they came back. Phillies swept them. Now, is that concerning because what happened to Chicago coming back from an England series, they got swept at home? Or did it also say, well, the Phillies were playing really good baseball back then, too, because that's when they started playing their real best? So the question is out there to you. How do you feel? Do you think the Phillies, and Sylvia's call couldn't have come at a better time, do you think the Phillies need to stand pat, just be patient, take a look at what they have up until the trade deadline? Obviously, injuries will come into play, or hopefully they don't. Or do you think they need to make a move? I mean, Amy's move is talking about the second left-handed pitcher in the bullpen. Maybe that's just how good things are. 610-632-0975. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call or send us a text. Let us know how you feel. We'll get to some of your texts after we get back. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, middays. As we approach the 11 o'clock hour, we got Amy Fadul with us all day long today. And the superfluous Ray Dunn managing
Did you call him superfluous?
I know. Kind of.
Not good.
You know why I said superfluous? Well, you know what? Did you ever see the movie Father of the Bride?
Yes.
With Steve Martin?
Great.
When
Great
he
movie.
snaps and he goes into the store and he starts taking off the buns?
Yes.
And they're like, sir,
Because
what are
they
you
don't
doing?
match.
Yeah.
He's like, I only need 8.
I'm just taking away the superfluous buns. Well, my wife and I were talking about that this weekend, and I don't know why that word was in. I was just going to say super, but superfluous. So, Ray, I'm calling you super.
Needed.
I mean, he
You're
knew
super.
that I had no idea what that word was, so I appreciate him
As soon
just
as
trying
I
to
said
sneak
it, I was
one in
like,
there.
No.
So,
he's necessary.
little more behind the scenes about Ray Dunn, because he just continues to impress me more and more. The more I get to know him, the more he impresses me. So we told the story about when his parents had the graduation party for his sister, and he had to oversee, the guys that were there, and he had to go down at like 2 a.m. and said, now, what were the words again?
Something with,
Quit carrying on.
Quit carrying on. Yes, I'm
I was
sorry. I
gonna
don't know
say
how that
cutting
left
up.
my
I
mind.
couldn't remember it.
Well, this weekend, he was down the shore, and his brother's girlfriend, like, you got some fresh 21-year-olds that don't really know the bar scene.
So he had to show him the ropes?
Who was the adult in the room, in the bar, to show them, the ways of bar life down the shore?
That's a real stretch for him.
Oh, and he took his responsibility. Like, I said, well, wait, did you look out for Ray Dunn? Like, was there any, fun for Ray Dunn? He said, oh, no, this was like more of I had
Strictly
to watch.
educational.
Yes. Absolutely.
Strictly
So
educational.
you never cease to impress me, even though you're a little bit my younger. You never cease to amaze me.
I appreciate that, Bob.
You're a man of the
I'm
people.
not going to take the layup. You put that one on a tee, I'm
No,
going
I
to let
did
that go
not. You
right
got
by.
to get that out of your mind. There's a moratorium. Get it out of your mind. All right? I'm talking about how much I appreciate you and have come to respect you, and the more and more I know you, and you have to go somewhere bad. Now, see, now you're knocking yourself down a notch.
Don't do that.
I told you, we had 4 hours for me to go from stupendous at the start of the show for you to hate me. So
I don't think
we're
we
gonna
did
get there.
stupendous. I don't think that's where we went.
That's exactly where you went. And then you said I wasn't needed by the end of the first hour of the show.
Yeah.
And you thought I didn't know what it meant. And I didn't. But thank you, Amy. I
I'm
appreciate
sorry.
you looking out for me.
Well, you know what? This
said that. I was
first
like,
hour of the
that's not
show,
right.
Aim,
Yeah,
hasn't it been great?
I love this first hour.
Yes, it's also been brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. All right, Aim, I brought up to you our first question of the day was, where are you with these Phillies right now? Are you more of a stand pat? I'm okay with this team. My God, they have the best record in baseball. Yeah, there's been some injuries. Let's not forget, they're getting back one of their best players in a day or
Talk
two.
about under the radar.
Yeah.
I mean, normally when you have a guy that was batting, 340 plus, comes back, it would be the talk of but you're thinking, oh, no, that's something fun.
Oh, yeah, let's not forget that.
Trey Turner's might come back today or tomorrow or this weekend. That'll be something fun. Hilarious.
It is, and it's awesome. I love it. It's great. But I got to ask you, I did see a tweet, somebody saying, before this trade deadline comes about, I would love to see the Phillies, this is somebody that I read, get a bopping outfielder because not satisfied among Brandon Marsh, Pache, and Rojas. What's your thoughts on that? Or do you let it play out because, no, this team's good enough the way they are?
Yeah, I let it play out. I understand the desire to have, obviously, a stronger bat out there in the outfield. We've seen Castellanos has been hitting better, but he's not going to get you that. You want a power bat out there. You figure you've got your power bats elsewhere around. But to me, we haven't even seen Kyle Schwarber kind of take the level we're used to seeing. I think that I don't mess with the good mojo you got going on. And again, when I'm looking out there, because I have seen that there's several people that have said that, and it's hard not to think that it's something that could be a real viable need on this team. You're looking to see who might be available, whether it's via trade or things like that. There's not a whole lot out there in that department. So are you going to take a chance, take a chance on someone in the off chance that they actually turn out to be that bopping left fielder?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Me neither.
Or you just let Marsh and it's worked so far. That's not a need for me. That's not a great need that I would try to really go hard after. There wasn't anybody that I looked at that I thought, well, that guy could be available maybe if with the right package. They've got a nice farm system going. I don't think it's a need that's pressing so much that you're going to try to like really spend too many of your assets or resources on it, for me.
Right. Now, Ray, we have some text on the Phillies talk that we had, whether it be Jose Alvarado or maybe some moves.
Yeah, we got a couple texts coming in. First, starting with the moves where you guys were just talking about. Nick in Telford said, I'm of the mindset they don't need to make any major changes. I think patience is key. That being said, I'll always take another bullpen arm if the price is right and there's a chance to improve.
Look, we always want to improve. We always want perfection. We always want things to go as well as they can go. It's not realistic. I hear you. I just wonder if you already have it here, you just have to give it time. But what else we got?
Unnamed texter here with there are a lot of guys out there. We need a right-handed hitting outfielder. It's just a matter of what you're willing to give up. Luis Robert amongst others.
Okay, again, I'll put that on the same.
It's the same. It's very minimal. We're looking at minimal tweaks.
Yeah.
Additions.
And, I didn't include Whit Merrifield in that among those, center and left fielders because he did get some play out there. He played both games this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. But look, if they try to go out and get a bopper out there, okay, I guess I'm all right with it if you want to give it a shot. It has to. You have to look at what it means, though. Yeah, exactly. What else? Is there any?
Same texter wanted to check in on the Alvarado conversation and said Jose Alvarado equals Mitch Williams. His walks per 9 innings is high, 3+.
It is. And you know what? I was going to bring this up earlier. It's funny you said that. Sometimes having a little bit of wildness I don't think he's your closer. And this is something I'm going to bring up later on in the show because I was surprised when one of the national broadcasters said, "Oh, and there's the closer." I think that's. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But he does walk some people, but that sometimes wildness is okay a little bit when you're throwing 100 miles an hour in my eye.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
right? Puts guys back on their heels a little bit.
Not for nothing, the Mitch Williams comparison, I think his walk rate as a Philly might be like 2 or less walks, almost half of what Mitch Williams was.
Yeah, I never have that comparison in my head.
No.
All right, when we get back, Amy and I hit on it just a little bit. The Phillies are going to get something big back in their lineup. It could be as early as tonight. Tom McCarthy said it might yesterday. He told us it might go until they play Baltimore on Friday. And that is Trey Turner. What do you do? I have a question on this. What do you do? We'll put it out there to you. This is Middays, 97.5, The Fanatic. 11 o'clock hour. Thanks for being with us today on Middays. Talking a lot of Phillies. It was funny because I had a buddy call me this morning, one of my best friends, as I'm driving into work. And he's like, so what's on the schedule today? And I was like, well, you know, you do have the best team in a sport in this town right now. I think that's kind of obvious. Now, look, we all know what a topic the Eagles is and all that. And we did a lot of that. We went over, and the morning show went over it again today. But we talked about the Jalen Hurts and the Nick Sirianni thing and all that. I think, in my mind, I think it's played out. And sorry, but it says on that sign right there, Middays with Bob Cooney. Bob Cooney's going to talk about what he thinks the people are interested in most right now. And I think most right now are these Philadelphia Phillies. Eagles had plenty of time. As I said in the opening page, or the front page rather, they don't start training camp for a month and a half.
Yeah,
we're going to have plenty to talk about up until then.
We heard from all the guys. We've dissected all of this. Listen, I mean, we all talked about the 95% comments over and over, and Jalen Hurts trying to kind of clarify him, and the Brandon Graham, right, coaches. It is what it is, and those guys are going to – I think the one thing I'll take away is that Jalen Hurts probably won't put a numeric value on anything anymore, because I can't wait till the next time we hear from him, which will be in a month and a half.
Yeah.
I guarantee someone will bring that up. Hey, remember when you said the 90 – what percentage really would you give it?
Yeah.
Because I think that he's going to realize that we take stuff and we just beat it into the ground.
Yeah, and I think I look at things more generically, maybe more in life as a whole as opposed to just sports sometimes. And the breakdown of the Jalen Hurts-Nick Sirianni relationship, and it was something that they talked to Jeff McClain about this morning from the Inquirer, and I understand it.
Yeah.
Like, look, you want kumbaya, you want everything to be great. I got to tell you, I've had a couple of jobs in my life that I really love. There may have been a couple of people that I've come across during those jobs that, like, I just didn't see, I didn't see their way. I think Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni are two totally different people. I think it was showed in the Super Bowl, and thanks for reminding me of that yesterday, Ray. I couldn't remember what game it was. When Sirianni started acting a certain way and Hurts just looked at him and went, nah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean,
they're different people.
They are.
They see things in different ways. Like, you can be an athlete playing, or I've told the story of one of my sons when he was a player. He hits a game-winning shot. The team goes nuts coming off the bench and all that. If you just watched him walk from hitting the shot to the bench, you couldn't tell if they just lost the game on a three-pointer or won it. That's like, and he kind of got that from me. I'm not the jump up and down, yeah. Like, that's okay. And if somebody is like that, I might not think that's really cool. But that's okay.
Right.
I don't mind that 25-year-old Jalen Hurts might not see exactly the same way as his head coach, as long as they're not butting heads or fist fighting.
Yeah, I think it's a personality different.
I do too.
Not a complete dichotomy of like, oh my God, I am completely one way and I cannot see you at all this way.
Yeah.
I think that Jalen Hurts is he reminds me, like Saban probably was a really good coach for him. Nick Saban's like, yep, I'm all business. Bill Belichick would be this. You know what I mean? He's just like a silent type of guy. That doesn't mean that he can't appreciate a coach that is a little bit more excitable.
No, nothing's the same.
When you started telling this story about your son, it made me think of Jay Wright when Chris Jenkins hit that shot. I mean, is there a cooler customer in the world? He says bang and starts walking down because he thought there was time. Maybe I have to drop another. Like, what in the world? Everyone else is losing their. I remember seeing Ashley Howard just come out of nowhere, losing his mind, and Jay's like, bang, yeah. All right, so if they get the ball back, I got to do this. I'm like, that is such a coach right there.
Just walking. Like, I appreciate that so much.
Yeah,
I really do.
One of my favorite moments.
Yeah, I reached out to Jay last week, and he was on the golf course, and he's got a lot of stuff going on. But we want to get him on the show, and it's cool. He was very nice about the show and all that.
We'll have to get him on Bobby Hurley now.
You know what, Aim? I'm going to ask you. Why don't you text Jay and see if he can come on before the show's over? Because I texted him last week, so we'll give that a try. But I do. I appreciate that type of react. That's why I think I've talked about if I was a follower as a professional player, and I say that I think those guys almost all are alpha dogs. So you asking them who the leader is, I think is kind of sometimes a weird question. But if I was like a guy that was in the locker room with the Phillies and I'm tying my shoelace and I might look up every once in a while to see like how this person is acting, to me, because of my personality, it would be JT Realmuto. I appreciate that guy gets hit and hurt and doesn't change expression and bounces right back and plays his ass off and just does whatever's needed and, doesn't look for any fanfare or anything like. I know you're making a face like you're a guy, like you know what that feels like. But I know exactly what you're thinking.
He's gotten beat up a lot, though.
That was bad.
He's had a couple. The throw one was terrible, too.
Oh, I mean, the way his head snapped on that play at home plate. Like, I just,
he's a tough guy.
Oh, so tough. And
guy.
I appreciate that. And do you know that he's tough because, he's changing expression and jumping up and down? No, he doesn't change expression. No. He's like, yeah, that's killing me right now.
Exactly.
And I really
I'm
feel
here,
like getting off
got the glove
field,
right back down.
I'm going to give a thumbs up, even though my voice probably went up like 3 octaves and, whatever. But so the question I wanted to ask you, we're talking about change in the Phillies, and would you? Well, there's going to be change real soon. And it's crazy, like Amy said, that we've barely talked about Trey Turner and his 340-plus average. Considered, and I agree with it, one of the best top 3 maybe shortstops in all of baseball. Oh, yeah, yawn stretch, come alive at 45 and 20. You're getting him back. What do you do with him? Now, look, let me before Amy was ready to jump all over
I don't know.
All right,
I got it.
I'm saying he's a full go. I'm not saying it's like they're not bringing him back now to say, well, let's put you out there for a few innings and see how it feels. No, he's a full go. That's how I'm looking at it. He says he's okay. Doctors say he's okay. Full go. There's been a guy hitting in the 2-hole since he went out that's been really good, and that is the aforementioned JT Realmuto. Easiest thing would be to say, Trey, number 2, JT, you're a good guy, good teammate and stuff. We'll figure you out probably at number 6, 5. 5, but he likes to go lefty, righty,
yeah.
and Bohm's going to be there at 4. What do you do? Do you tell Trey, hey, we're going to ease you back in? So, like, if there's a chance, you get 4 at-bats as opposed to 5, and we can keep you off the base pass maybe for a little bit, we might do that. Aim, what would you do?
I'd ease him back in. And it's not because I don't think that he's 100%. We heard from him when he was in London because he was over with the team because he is doing, kind of team activities, ramping back up. And he said he felt better. He had that setback, obviously, you remember, in Colorado, and he said he hasn't felt that. So it seems like he's coming back sooner rather than later. It might be this series against the Red Sox. It could be the series, depending on, it could be the series with the Orioles in Baltimore. And it's not because I don't think that he can. I just don't know that you put him in that position right away.
In
the 2 spot.
Okay.
I keep Realmuto there, knowing JT Realmuto knows that's not his position as far as how the batting order is going to go. You'd have to move him back down. I forgot they'd like to go left, right. So you have to move him down to 6th. Not a giant fan of that, but I think that the caveat when I would talk to JT Realmuto would be like, listen, Trey's coming back. We're gonna work him back up in there. Give it a week, and you'll see yourself, and you'll have to go back down. I mean, JT Realmuto is a guy that you can do that with because I don't think it affects him. He's been hitting so well in that 2 spot. But you know who else was hitting really well in the 2 spot? Trey Turner.
Yeah.
So
to the tune of 340 something, yeah.
Yeah, they were 343 when he went out, I think. So I mean, it's a great problem to have. It's like when we're talking about trying to keep Edmundo Sosa in the lineup or try to use him in some way, shape, or form because of how well he was batting. These things have a tendency to work themselves out. We've seen the bottom of the order, or the latter half of the order, not have as much production. JT Realmuto would solidify a lot of that right down there in that 6th spot for me.
All right, so I'm just writing it out here now. So let's go. Here's your lineup. This
is my
lineup as far as Trey Turner comes back, but you want to ease him into the lineup. So you're going Schwarber, JT, Harper, Bohm, Stott, Turner, Marsh, Castellanos, Rojas.
Yes.
Did I say Castellanos? Castellanos. Right? Rojas?
Yes.
Ray, I'll go to you now. Trey Turner has been totally... You're on the plane ride back from England, okay? You're going to Boston. Medical team, Dombrowski, you are Rob Thompson. They come over to you and say, hey, Trey's 100%, man. We ran him through on that practice soccer field. We stretched it out as far as stride, as far as everything. He is good to go. Now I'm going to be Dave Dombrowski and say to you, so what do you think we should do, Rob? What's your lineup?
Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Bohm.
Right back in.
Okay.
Realmuto, Let's go
Oh, so
Stott,
you
Castellanos.
go Bohm Realmuto.
Yeah, he's done a couple of 4-5 righty-righties recently, so I don't really feel too pressed about the righty-righty 4-5.
He has. You're right.
So I'll probably go Stott 6, Castellanos 7, Marsh 8, and then Rojas 9 for the ideal 9.
Good lineup, isn't it?
Good lineup.
Yeah. So you no look, if you're and I'm more towards Ray side in general. If you're an athlete and I'm told you're 100%, I'm sorry,
right
that's
back
what you're
in.
there for. That's right
Go
back in. So I think I agree. I think I would put him at the 2 hole. Now, it's different too. He is a great hitter, and he has been his whole career sans the first part of last year. He's not going to do a rehab. He's not doing the Derek Jeter going to Trenton so I can boost up the attendance down there a little bit. You know, he's not going to do that. I respect that. Like, I would lay it in Trey Turner's hands also and say, you tell me what you need.
Yeah, you're good, then
if you're good with some live pitching and jump right back in, I agree with you. Who am I to talk to a over 300 lifetime hitter about that? But the reason I may slow it down a bit on Amy's side isn't because of running the base pass. It's because I want him to find his swing. Now, he could very well come in here like he did at the World Baseball Classic.
It could be one game, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, or he could be on fire and just come out and be like, whoa, where did this come from? Like he did last season at the World Baseball Classic. So I think I would plug him in at 2 and say, all right, if you're ready to roll, here we go. The great thing is how well Edmundo Sosa played when he was out. So it's kind of like, how you feeling today? A little bit sore. Okay, go tonight. We'll give you tomorrow. You know, something like that.
Schedule days off.
Yeah. I can't imagine he's going to go. What did Tom said he's probably going to go Baltimore series, right, Ray? Yesterday?
Yeah, sometime middle to end of this week. So probably end of Boston, beginning of Baltimore.
Okay. So
that might be matchup based too, right? Depending on the
maybe.
pitcher.
Yeah,
would you consider that at all? Or no? Just if he's good to go, he's good to go. Yeah.
I'm really leaning towards if
Yeah.
you're good to go, you're good to go. Now, is there something in your head? And we know that Rob Thompson likes to give people off. Like Bryson Stott only played one of those 2 games in England. But I'm not going to bring that up because I'm not sore about it at all. We know that he's not, abject to sitting a guy. I mean, he's okay with giving rest. Let's say that.
Unless your name's Nick Castellanos.
Right. Exactly. Do you look at it and say, okay, you're going to play 2, but not the afternoon game on Sunday? Because Trey Turner's not that guy. Trey Turner plays every day.
He's an everyday guy.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting how they handle this, right?
No, I think that if he's going back, I think if he's going and he says he's 100% and that first couple of games, his bat looks like it's back, I think that the timing thing is what the only concern I would be, but it's not really a concern. If you're back, you're back. So, and he obviously had been hitting pretty well before he left with the injury. Turner's going to be a guy that I think wants to play every day in order to maintain, everything that he's done to get back. I feel like he's an everyday type of guy. And there's only a couple, you're really looking at a limited time until you have the All-Star break.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
So, you have a week off coming up in the middle of July. We're about a month away from that. There's not that many. There's some off days, obviously, here and there. So I wouldn't be surprised if when he's back, he goes full bore until the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And then maybe latter half of July, August, you're looking to build in some stuff because then you're thinking about, primed and ready for September and October.
Right. And we often have a tendency as onlookers, fans, all that, of thinking players are robotic. Like, just put them out there to play, whatever.
Yep.
Trey Turner's going to experience some soreness in other places. It's. I used to laugh when NBA players, when I was covering, the team, like second, third day of training camp, you watch those guys come in out of their cars or off the bus because they're
especially
all
when
together.
they step out.
Oh, the soreness, and you're thinking like, I know people would say, yeah, there'd be people there.
Feel that.
What do you mean they're sore? What did they do all off season? It doesn't make any. That's different.
Game shape is a lot different than in shape.
It is so much different. So Trey Turner's probably going to feel some aches and pains that'll probably warrant.
And those fast twitch muscles for him are so important for him.
Exactly.
Sliding and obviously making the plays at shortstop. And as much as you can try to mimic those, you can't.
No.
You cannot.
No.
And game time is only the time you can get that. So
exactly.
Those are really important for him.
So we could see maybe some days coming up off for Trey Turner after he returns simply because of soreness or whatever. I never go into a game, and I've said this before, and it usually, surrounds the Joel Embiid talk. I never watch a game and go like, "Ooh, be careful, don't get." Oh, like I don't. Like you're out there to play. If injuries happen, they happen, and they're going to. They have through all of sports. I don't watch games that way. Like, I remember Jamie Lynch and I used to always have this conversation. He's like, are you kidding? Every time Embiid goes down, I'm holding my breath.
Yeah, I cringe every time.
I can't do that. I can't. So when Trey Turner's out there, I'm not going to be looking for him to grab his hamstring. Maybe Rob Thompson has an extra eye on it, like, ooh, he really extended for that ball. Maybe. I just don't.
I think Topper's always got that. He thought that when Harper did the celebration. Oh, please don't hurt yourself.
That was hysterical, wasn't it?
So great.
Does he just totally get it more than anybody?
The lock of the decade for him to hit that home run and have a celebration picture.
I love soccer.
Decade.
I mean, that is just so cool. Yeah, he is.
But yeah,
and the
Topper
bat?
saw that the bat was. I saw the bats ahead of time. We might have talked about that.
Did you? No, we didn't.
Yeah, Bat King they had released all the bats, and
okay.
So they had because a couple guys use the Victus bats, and you saw the one that was the Fanatic addressed as the Queen's Guard, and I was like, if I know anyone's bat, I know whose bat that one is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Topper, though, when he watched him slide on his knees, you just think, oh, please don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, I could just see him sticking or whatever.
Don't do that.
Yeah, so it seemed like everybody just had a great time over there.
Time.
Ray, we still have some texts on all the stuff we're talking about, Phillies and Jose Alvarado?
Yes, we still got plenty of texts on what's going on with this Phillies team as people begin to give their opinions on Alvarado after the weekend. Someone checked in with although I personally don't mind Jose at the closer spot, you cannot blame Phillies fans for being nervous or worried about the bullpen. After all, we've gone through the past couple of seasons with it.
Yeah. I understand nerves and everything in sports. You know, I had nerves the other day when although I thought the moment was so perfect for Bryce Harper coming up in the ninth inning of that Mets game the other night. I thought I thought that was perfectly going to set into place. But, I understand people being nervous about Alvarado, but you do have to look at the overall picture, and it lends more to being confident than nervous, I would say.
I appreciate your understanding, Bob. Your understanding is very kind to the way people view this thing. I don't.
Okay.
You don't understand it?
No.
I understand because it's recent biasy, and that's what we are as a fan base.
Recency bias?
Yeah. What did I say? Recent bias?
I think it's a confirmation bias. You just think something, and then finally you have something that confirms it.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
that's like what manifest destiny. You see it, and therefore you become it. Type of vibe. Is that what manifest destiny is?
I thought that was.
You're manifesting your destiny?
I don't know. I thought that was a history thing.
Well, yes, it is also a history thing. Manifest.
Yeah, that's it. And all of a sudden, I was in like sixth grade again when you said that. I was like, what?
I saw the look on Ray's face, and I was
the
like,
exploration with the colonies in America.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought that was. One more for you about Alvarado. Scott checking in saying, in regards to Alvarado, I think the optics make it seem like he's less steady than he really is. I could be wrong, but when he misses, it seems a bit erratic, maybe just due to his velocity. But as you've all stated, he still gets the job done more often than not.
Yeah, and like I said before, sometimes you have a closer that throws 100, 101, and they're a little wild. I mean, I'd hate to face that. You know, you're not settling back foot saying, all right, it's 100 down the middle. I'm going to have at it.
And to your point, that makes it okay at times. I mean, obviously, you don't want them to be completely wild. But when you're coming in, it's 100, 101, and you don't know if it's going to drop, if it's going to come straight up, down, whatever. That keeps them guessing in its own right.
Yeah.
Inside, outside, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny. I still have a lot of confidence in Alvarado. Not that it's funny. I should have a lot of confidence in him. I'm fine with it. Yeah. They had outing the other day. Okay. I can live with that.
Yeah, I mean,
and you know what Rob Thompson's going to do? If there's a save situation tonight and it's called for a left-hander, he'll go right back to him.
I told Sylvia when he comes on tonight for the save.
Oh, you did say that.
You have to leave.
Turn
but
up
you can
the volume.
Listen. Yeah, you can listen when he gets the save. That way you would have still been able to stomach it.
Yeah.
If there's a save situation, there's zero doubt that he's going to Alvarado.
I have a question for you on this, and we will get to it maybe next segment. Maybe the segment after that. But I do have a question about Phillies closer. What I want to bring up to Amy next, it's something that we all talked about yesterday. And I haven't said hi to our YouTube family yet, so hello, guys. And Mopar, I have I have to get Mopar to do something, Amy. He's one of our great YouTubers because he disappointed me a little bit this morning.
Oh.
So I have to rectify this situation, yeah. So you'll know what I'm talking about when we get to it. But we talked about something yesterday that garnered a lot of reaction. And you know how this business goes, Aim. Sometimes things light people on fire, other times they don't. Well, I brought up Caitlin Clark yesterday and the situation there, and we got a lot of great reaction to it. It was a lot of fun, a really good conversation. I want to get Amy's thoughts on that. So we'll do that. We'll do some more stuff. Whatever you want to do, give us a call, 610-632-0975. We would love to hear from you. Mopar, I am going to convert you when we get back. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. everybody. Middays, Bob Cooney, joined by Amy Fadul and the unbelievably terrific Ray Dunn producing today. Hey, reminder, we had the announcement yesterday at 3 o'clock. It's going to be a subject a little bit later on in the show, kind of relating to this. But 97.5 The Fanatic FanFest 2024 with FanDuel. It's on Saturday, September 28th at Xfinity Live. All the Fanatic hosts, we're all going to be there, milling about, having fun with you guys. There's going to be celebrity guests, Philly sports legends, bunch of activities, games, prizes, so much more. It is such a fun day. It's the biggest party of the year for Philadelphia sports fans. You can listen all week and this weekend to win tickets. I'm going to be giving away some tickets later on. You can go to 975thefanatic.com for all the details, including info for our online ticket raids, which will be starting up soon. Look, you want to be there, you're going to get there. All right, somehow, some way, we're going to get you tickets. Now, I got a little beef with my boy. Mopar, good friend. Love him. I've introduced him to my closest friends. I've come to consider him a very good friend from meeting him via YouTube and then going out and meeting him. And him and another YouTuber got together, found love. Like, all cool. Love my man Mopar, great dude. This morning I get up, and for some reason the stream wasn't working on my phone, so I went to YouTube to listen to the morning show. And I saw a comment by Mopar saying, yeah, I don't know, like there's been a lot of changes at the station and all, and I don't know if, I'm really into going this year. Mopar, my man, I'm not one that begs or anything like that, but I will say this. It is one of my most fun days of the year. I love it, and it's because of people like Mopar. Andrew Salciunas and I, about 6 years ago, started a tradition that we get there a few hours before the event begins, and we go around to all the different tailgates. Our first stop is the tailgate of our YouTube listeners and friends and family. I love it. I adore it. It's it starts the day. It's the official start. Mopar, I am selfishly asking you.
You got to be there.
Do not be the most special part of that day to me, and that is starting that out. Like, I know I can close my eyes, see exactly where we're sitting. We usually have a football. We have a catch. It might be the first beverage of the day. If, you never know.
Yeah. Well,
but I just tell you, like, I know we all are here. We all know the changes that have been made, and it's tough. It is tough, but we are looking to still grow and get better and be here for you, and hopefully you guys are there for us also. So don't give up. I'm asking you not to. Be out there for us this year. Bring your significant other because we love her so much and we know she wants to be there. So I'm putting that plea not just out to Mopar, but to everybody. It is such a fun day. And if Mopar, you want to comment on the YouTube page, you're going to have to admit how much fun FanFest is. And Amy, drum roll, it's going to be Amy Fadul's first FanFest this year.
Very excited.
Yes, me too. And the greatest part about it is, oh, no, we have to stick together, me, you, and Ray, because we are a show.
That's right.
That's right. So we got to stick together. We will be hanging out. You are going to be.
You guys have adopted me, and I'm so excited. I'm very, very grateful for that adoption.
Yes, it is a spectacular day. It is one of those. You'll be like, oh my God.
You're saying there's thousands and thousands.
I'll show you a picture. I think at our height a few years back, I was on stage and I did a video of the people. And this is just the stage where they introduce us at one point of the day. And just people out there. And they weren't there for us. But we also have, I think that day we interviewed Brian Dawkins on stage and all of that. But I'll show you the sea of people that's there. It's just a fun day. And it's so great to talk to the people that listen and talk to the people that are on our YouTube page and get to be friendly with them.
Yes.
The cool
people
part
call
is,
in.
this is what I love about doing this. Don and I have we have a routine. We do our shopping usually on Saturdays, right? So we go to a Sam's Club or whatever. We go there. We're in the Sam's Club, and I bump into a guy, and he's like, hey, So we say hi to each other. He's like, I listen all the time. That's great, whatever. So we go to another store after that, which is right across the street, and he and his wife are right there, too. And he's like, oh, we're on the same routine. Yeah. A couple months later, we have FanFest. And he's walking, I'm like, Brian. And he's like, yo, Bob, what's up? And my wife was with me. She's like, how do you know him? And I'm like, oh, we ran into him at Sam's a couple of months ago. And she's like, you're an idiot. I don't remember tomorrow in the house, but I remember Brian, who we met in,
we saw him at 2 different locations, so.
Yes,
and then now it's the third for FanFest.
It's Amy, you're going to love it. I mean, you are going to love it. Yeah, it's such a fun day. So if you're all in for fun, coming out, you know what all entails. We will give you more details as it comes up. But, man, it is just Chris Miller, one of our YouTube guys who I never met before. Chris is salty. You know, he comes at us when he doesn't agree with us. He has a big thing that nobody watches as many games as he does. He watches every game and nobody else watches any other game. You know, that's his MO. That's his – and I love it. I love having conversations with him. Met him there for the first time. He's like, yo, don't be mad. I'm like, dude, get out of here. No way. You can disagree. That's what we're all about. So it is a great day. I hope to God you all are all there. And if you haven't experienced it, yeah, you got to go. You got to give it a try.
You got to go.
And the really cool thing is, I'm going to have maybe all 4 of my kids there this year because they are all over 21.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, so that would be really, really cool. So if any of the staffers have extra VIP tickets, I could use them because my kids are a lot of fun like that. But don't forget about that. That is FanFest on September 28th, so we can't wait for that. All right, Amy, one of the great talking points that we had yesterday, and I call it great not because anything that I brought up, I thought the people on YouTube responded to this terrifically. We had a couple of phone calls about it, and it was about Caitlin Clark being left off of the women's Olympic team coming up in Paris this summer. So there was a lot of back and forth, and you know what? Like her, don't like her game, don't like her game, it doesn't matter. The talk around the WNBA, which I think is so great, and it's not just because of Caitlin Clark. It is because there are great players in that league. But she has put a little light under the league that wasn't there before. We have to be honest about it, and I love it. I love that the league is being shown for who it is and all the great players that are in it. Now, she was left off the 12-person roster of the Olympics. Bob Cooney, guy between the lines, basketball guy, whatever. If you were to ask him, what do you think about it?
Right.
I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm okay that Caitlin Clark didn't make the 12-woman team for the Olympics because I think there are people that have put in more time into the now it's a professional thing, the Olympics. Sorry, but it is. That have put in more time in the professional sport than Caitlin Clark that, yes, are better all-around games than Caitlin Clark right now. Maybe some you could look at like Dom, Tasty Cake Dom said, Diana Taurasi at 40 years old, does she deserve it more than Caitlin Clark? Yeah. You know what? Her resume says yes. I'm okay with it. Where do you stand on that as far as her just making that 12-person team?
I'm okay with her not being on it as a person that appreciates that she'll be on it one day. It's not like she's going to go her entire career and not make the Olympic team. There's going to be other opportunities. And I saw the Diana Taurasi kind of argument like, oh, she's on the tail end of her career. So you're going to tell one of the greatest women's basketball players of all time that she can't have one last Olympic? Like, really? That's what you're going to do?
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
No.
Not at the expense of a 21-year-old Caitlin Clark who will have ample opportunity. The business side of me is you have to put Caitlin Clark on that roster because of the elevation it gets naturally.
Now, there's the business side. You didn't even let me get to that. No, that's fine.
But personally, no. Like, I get it. I thought when you look at the numbers, when you look at everything as it fleshes out, she just doesn't have at the professional level, and we've seen her struggle at times because everyone else is very good, as good, if not better, than she is. And you've seen her, how she's dealt with it. She's so young in the professional career because this is, as you mentioned, professional basketball level at the Olympics. All the other teams that you're going to be playing from the different countries, they're playing professionally, whether they're playing here in the WNBA or elsewhere overseas. These are all professional levels. So for her level of game, she's just not there. She doesn't have enough time at that level under her belt. It would be like when you put Christian Laettner on the Dream Team.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. He was the best college player at the time.
Sure.
Okay, so it made sense. But he didn't get any playing time unless when they were playing Angola and they won by 85 points. That would be the same for Caitlin Clark. Are you just getting her just the run so you can have her out there and get some experience? I don't think not the detriment from somebody else missing the team. Not for me. I get it personally.
Right. Now, you brought up the business side because you're smart, because you understand all of this. We brought up also yesterday, and some of our YouTubers commented on it also, which was awesome. On the business side of it, does anyone grasp I don't know, 10 to 21-year-old girls basketball fans more than Caitlin Clark. Therefore, aren't you shining the spotlight on the other girls on the Olympic team even more? Ladies, I shouldn't say girls. On the Olympic team better because she's there, so you're going to have that many more eyes upon it, in which those girls who are such fans of Caitlin Clark might look and say, oh, my God, look how good these other girls are. Now, you can make the case of, well, that should happen in the WNBA. But no, they're all going to be together for those games. Yeah. So the business side of you would say.
Absolutely. 100% she should be on the team. It's not even a question.
Yeah.
And the business side might actually, if I have to outweigh, it would. Yeah. For me, just because of the thing
you're a business person.
Yeah, well, you have to be smart about this. You're trying to grow the game of basketball. That's really what, the Olympics do a lot of things. But when you have the opportunities like the WNBA has right now, and they're taking advantage. It's not the secret that they put Caitlin Clark on national television. You could stream her preseason games, for Pete's sake. They were on all the streaming platforms. There's a reason behind that. And in the same vein, you're also getting to see players like Asia Wilson, and I know the other rookies that are so good out there, Cameron Brink, and obviously Angel Reese. You're getting to see a lot of them, and some of them are embracing that and realizing, yes. So I think they'd be all together. You'd be seeing, even you would just watch the game on the off chance you could see Caitlin Clark. And then to your point, you would get to see everybody else. You'd get to see, there's girls that have probably watched Caitlin Clark that have no idea how skilled and talented Diana Taurasi is. Yeah. Diana Taurasi might be she's top 5 for me. All-time women's basketball players. And it's not even close.
I was watching it this year, and I forget the girl's first name, but Thomas. She's like a triple-double threat, and I even forget what team she played on. But I hadn't seen her play in college and all. So I'm watching one of the games the other night, and I'm like, oh, my God, this is like and sure enough, she made the team, and I apologize. I don't know her first name. I'll admit.
Alyssa.
What is it?
Alyssa,
okay.
Oh.
And she's like in her 30s maybe. She might be low 30s. She's been in the league for a while. I'm watching. I'm like, wow, that's a great all-around player. Look, it happened to me watching.
Yeah.
I would love, for it to happen to these girls that maybe only Caitlin Clark fans to become, women's
Overall.
fans, WNBA fans. Exactly. So the business side of it is there also. Now, is it a best-case scenario? I don't want anybody to get hurt or anything like that.
Yes, it is.
It
That's
appears that she is the first alternate.
I would think she's the first alternate. And I think, honestly, that's how they got through this, the kind of like outside look of people being like, I can't believe you left her out. Well, listen, she's the first alternate. Things can happen. Injuries, other things come up, and players, can't go to the Olympics. That's, I thought, the best of both worlds, what they could do. They're not taking a spot away from somebody, but they're making her earn it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's an interesting topic. I know a lot of people have feelings on it because we got to it like at the 1:47. So it was kind of late yesterday when we got to it. So if you want to chime in on that, 610-632-0975, what do you go for? Do you go for the 12 best players? Do you go for the business side of it? I understand both one. I really do. I understand the reasoning of both. I think Amy just laid it out there perfectly. Also, what about these Phillies? Are you cool standing pat? It's easy to say, yeah, let's go get a better this, better that. Do you have a better this, better that to go after? You can say another bullpen arm and this, that. Maybe you have it already. You just have to take a bigger look at it. We'd love to know what you think. 610-632-0975. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. We're still getting some great responses on our YouTube page about this Caitlin Clark thing. And one of them, I think it was Neil Deaver, that said, so you either send the 12 best, and then in parentheses, which you aren't, or you send Clark, in parentheses, which you aren't. So what are we doing here? Now, look, the 12 best, you're formulating a team. I understand. Like, look, not everything is perfect. I understand it. And people did bring up Diana Taurasi and talking about, look, at some point in sports, people are granted things that, yes, you can make the argument. There's probably a younger player that is better right now than Diana Taurasi, who didn't make the team. But sometimes also you have to be granted that, thanks for all you've done and all of that. There's never going to be a perfect answer, and we go both ways. I am looking for one perfect answer on the YouTube page, just one. And Mopar, damn it, if you don't answer me in this segment, during this segment, that you're
kind
going.
of hinting around it. He hasn't
he's saying I'm tugging at his, string. Mopar, you are coming. I need to see that. I need to see it this segment just to let me know. And all of our YouTube family out there. For those that I haven't met, like Jim G's a good friend, a lot of good friends there, but for those that we haven't met, we'd love to see you out there. FanFest, September 28th. All I can tell you is don't knock it until you try it, because it is a pretty cool event. I have a ton of friends that go, and we have different pockets of friends because, my wife and I have been around together for a while, so we have a tremendous amount of pockets of friends, and we've tied almost all of them together to come in. And every year it's the same thing. Oh, man, I was never there before. That was pretty cool. So we do have a really fun time. And, look, we love to have fun with everybody. So I know he doesn't need a driver. Oh, that's it. So Mopar just answers, if I do go, I do not want to be the designated driver this year again. All right, we're going to have to work something out. Mopar's in. We'll work it out for you, Mopar. Somehow there's this thing called Uber. But whatever. We'll figure it all out.
You can pay people to drive you places now.
See, little things like that made my day. We converted Mopar. He's going to come.
He's coming.
Amy, I need to convert also. The Delaware Valley and beyond. I don't like doing this. It is totally against my nature. I only bled green when I went to and played for and coached for and still do Camden Catholic High School, my alma mater.
Right.
The other green, when it comes to that team up north in Boston, I cannot stand the Celtics. Hate them, can't stand them. It comes from being a little kid. It grew over the years. Hate them. I'm here to tell you, Delaware Valley, they need to win these NBA Finals. And it's off of what a caller said yesterday. And it was, watching this Celtics team, my God, everyone is still playing for second place in the Eastern Conference, no matter what the Sixers do. I agree.
Yeah.
However, the last 6 NBA champions have not gotten out of the second round. If that goes to 7 in a row, that means if the Sixers do all these moves that make them the second best team, there's a chance, a better chance. If the Celtics win the title, they don't get out of the second round next.
Stop it.
Well, if you're guaranteed that.
Stop it.
No, you.
Stop it.
I'm telling you.
Let's look at those last couple of champions and the average age of
Denver's
those.
not old.
Okay. They've got some guys they've got some time on those wheels.
I have proof on my side. If that's the only guarantee I can have that Boston is not getting out of the second round next year.
Not a guarantee.
I'm taking it. It's 6 for the last 6, Amy.
I will place a wager on that. That's how confident I am that the Celtics could go back to the Eastern Conference Finals next year. Not to mention, get out of the second.
Not if they win the championship.
I think they're going to win the championship, and I think there's a good chance they probably have a chance to repeat the championship.
I can't believe you're talking like this. I'm trying to find hope, and you're throwing dirt on it.
You're looking at these random things, trying to will. I will bet you
6 for 6 isn't random.
I'll bet you $100.
Oh, well, I don't have $100.
Okay, I'll bet you $50.
I don't have $50.
Then you.
I have the $30 I've collected today for the U.S. Open.
But
pool.
you're so you're all in. You're not losing the money. I bet you whatever.
All right, what's the bet? That they're in the, conference finals
next year?
They
get out of the second round.
I'm just looking for a glimmer of hope for something that makes us all sick to our stomach that they're going to win an NBA championship.
The only thing that would be good is that they're so good that somebody wants to break them up and they just toss a bunch of money and they try to trade for they break up with
that ain't
Jaylen Brown.
happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're telling me you don't think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can get past the second round next year?
Not if they win the NBA championship. It's been proven the last 6 years, Amy.
You know what else has been proven over the last 6, even 7 years?
Why are you guys going against me on
This team not getting out of the second round.
Yeah, I know.
Does it matter to the Thunder that the Nuggets didn't get out of the second round? Why would you cheer for the Celtics when you're guaranteed
I'm not
nothing with the
cheering for them.
76ers? It sounds like it.
I
It
am
sure
not.
sounds like it.
It's
It did.
What? All right, let's go back to class. What's the probability that the Celtics are going to win this NBA championship?
I mean, I'm not an
90
NBA analytics guy, but I would say
99.9.
my percentage is at 100%.
Yeah.
Right. So we hate that. It makes us puke. We can't stand it. So if you need to find a glimmer of hope, I'm trying to give it to you. I don't understand why you can't grasp
Let
that.
me be miserable. Please. I'm begging you.
But it's not going to happen. You know they're going to win the NBA championship.
I know
So
they're going to
exactly.
win the NBA title.
You know what's horrible about this too, Aim?
Giving us false hope.
Brendan Gunn's going up to Boston this weekend for Phillies. Phillies Red
Red
Sox, and he very well could be there if the
Gross.
he's staying up for the whole weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Gross.
Yeah, that could be disgusting. I told you the story one time that I was walking from my hotel over to TD Garden. There was snow on the ground and all, and I'm standing at a red light, and I'm like, what the heck is that all underneath the snow? And it was all confetti.
Yeah, remember they had that like those kids
From
that
the
held up
parade.
those signs at one of the parades. Like I've seen 7 parades. Like, get
Yeah.
out of here, kid. No one likes you.
Wow!
That kid
The
that held
kid
up
was like 11 years old. You
and the
can't
thing
say
is,
that.
He wasn't. He was younger than that, and he didn't make that sign, judging the way that the sign was constructed. That's what bothers me.
I've never seen this side of you.
There's like dad or mom that made that sign. It's like, here you go, you get on television. That kid, you made that kid annoy. People didn't like that
Wait
kid.
a second. Are you above making a sign for either Shawnee or Baker?
They make their own signs. Well, Baker's 3. His sign's not going to look very good, but he's still going to make it.
Oh,
They
boy.
also wouldn't
I'm
let me
trying to
do it.
look for a glimmer of hope, and
All
I
right,
got nothing
you keep
here.
looking.
All right. I just brought up FanFest is coming up on September 28th, and we can't wait to see you all there. And we're going to have many more details
Mopar's
coming
in.
about that. I know. Mopar is in. I am so pumped up now. That made my day. I want to talk about days that aren't the normal, my favorite day of the year. That might be one of your favorite days of the year. I'll explain exactly what we're talking about. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. Thanks for being back with us, everybody, on this Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day. Worst day of the week, Amy and I have pointed out before. But since I have off on Friday, today has kind of a different meaning for me. So it's kind of like my sort of hump day, kind of, sort of.
Kind of your Wednesday.
Yeah, right? So I'm okay there, I believe. Good news for the Philadelphia Eagles, as Christian McCaffrey has been named the cover of Madden 25 and all the bad luck that brings.
Huh.
So that's something pretty cool.
So you guys really thought that it was the worst move when I wanted to take CMC. Madden didn't. Just saying.
Right, that's good news for the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but you believe in that, but you won't believe in the teams that win the championship.
I don't believe in the
NBA.
Madden curse.
You just want to disagree with me.
The
Just
Madden
admit it.
curse hasn't been a thing for a while.
What?
No.
I don't know. I don't. I just think you want to disagree with me. I
No,
think
I
you've
love
reached
CMC.
that point.
It's great.
Yeah, he is. He is fun to watch.
He's so much fun to watch.
If you have number one, are you in a fantasy football league?
He's my number one pick.
What a stupid question. Is Amy in a fantasy? She's in like
Multiple.
3 of them. Yes. Last night, so behind the scenes again, Amy's at the dinner table last night, and, you know, what happens? They do a draft. She, her husband, and their oldest son do a draft of how many rounds did it go?
9. Everybody has 9 players.
So this is what
Snake
they do at
draft.
the dinner table, including a 9-year-old.
Yes, Shawnee's 9.
And they draft 9 players from Major League Baseball, counting how many home runs they have now until the end of the year. Whatever amount that adds up to for those 9 players
all
is the
those
winner.
players. Correct.
Now I have to ask.
I should put my list up.
Is the no. I'm not going to ask who's on your team. Is the prize like extra dessert? Is the prize like if mom wins, she gets this? If dad wins, is there any
There's a lot
prize?
of pride. A lot of pride.
Oh, just pride. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'll make.
You're playing for bragging rights.
Listen, we have a family. We're in a couple of leagues. But side note, we have a family fantasy football league, and the only thing you win there is this plaque with our grandmother's picture on it, and everybody gets their name with their team name on it. And our youngest son, it was his first year in the league last year, and he won it. So he beat all these adults.
So your youngest son did it by computer?
He has an iPad. So he does it on his iPad.
So he just picked, or was he held? He's only 2.
Oh no, Sean won it.
I thought you said our youngest.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Did I say
You did.
youngest?
I'm pretty sure you said our
Sorry,
youngest
yeah,
one.
sorry,
I was
no.
like,
that would be impressive.
God,
Baker.
they're breaking this kid in early. Hey, congratulations,
no,
2-year-old.
Baker, 3-year-old. But 3-year-old be all the adults. But no, Shawnee won. Sorry, our oldest son. He won it. But you get your name on it, and he wants it prominently featured. So if whoever wins this, there isn't a pride. We don't ever when we have these little side bets and everything like we do. It's always usually pride. But I'll probably have something. If Shawnee wins, or I would have something for him to denote. Maybe I'll get him a little trophy or something.
Oh, okay.
But it's really pride because he just wants to prove that he knows as much, if not more, than his parents who work in sports.
I have to ask this, and I hope you're not offended by it. Can I eat over sometime?
You're always welcome.
Can I have dinner? I want to
talk
have dinner at the
sports,
Fidel
that's all
Kane
we
house
do.
because
That's
that
all we
sounds
do.
pretty cool. I could just be sitting there like, oh, this 9-year-old's making me feel
he's
like
the one
an
that
idiot.
comes up with these ideas. Like, let's have a home run draft. And I was like, what do you mean? So, and I was telling this to you guys, and Ray knew who this guy was. There was a gentleman that my son drafted. It was his last pick, and he was like Langoliers. And I was like, I have no idea who that guy is.
Yeah.
Never even heard of him. I had to look it up, so I had to spell it because I'm the secretary, so I have to keep everybody's picks. And Ray's like, yeah, I've seen the alerts. He plays for the A's. They said, good pick. And I was like, of course it was. That's where we're at.
Interesting.
Langoliers.
You do organize everything.
I am
don't
an
you?
organizer. I'm a planner and organizer.
That's all right. Somebody has to be
Yeah,
that in the
someone's gotta
family.
do it.
I certainly am not that. My wife is absolutely phenomenal at it. A, because she's so good, and B, because she has to be, because I unfortunately give no help there. Hey, the 12 o'clock hour, it's brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. All right, we're talking about a lot of things. And, Ray, we have some more texts. You said, because I was talking about Phillies, and I asked, is there something more that you feel you have to do with this team? I'm of the ilk, like, I think Whit Merrifield is going to turn out to get better. I think this season might be the opposite of last season. His numbers were so good early on that he made the All-Star team. After the All-Star game, he kind of declined a little bit. Gregory Soto, I don't know. Are you going to get a better second left-handed pitcher out of the bullpen than him? I don't know. This bullpen's been great. And once the playoffs come, I think you're pretty well set in what you have. But, you could want to do more. There's been talk about Jose Alvarado. What are the text messengers saying, Ray?
Bill in Springfield checking in, talking about Gregory Soto and about that bullpen. On the Phillies, I would think Strom is really our number 2 lefty. So really talking about our third lefty out of the pen that may need an upgrade. Not a bad spot to be in.
Third lefty. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
You were thinking like the second option after.
I was saying, like at that moment the other day, right? But he is your third lefty because I have a thought on this that I'll get to after we get to these texts. Ray, what else you got?
We got an unnamed texter here from PA checking in saying Alvarado is not a closer. The only player on this team more infuriating than him is Castellanos. Both positions need to be filled at the trade deadline.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. They're going to fill the position that isn't available in right field. That's amazing. There's a reason that gentleman or woman might not have put their name on that text.
I got to tell, what is going on with this Jose Alvarado stuff?
They're filling both of those.
If you haven't heard, okay, I'll repeat, and Sylvia brought it up earlier today. I will repeat these numbers. If you take away the very first game of the season and this last game that Jose Alvarado just pitched against the Mets in England, it's not a short span. It's 28 games that he has appeared in. He gave up 4 earned runs in 26 2/3 innings. That's an ERA of 1.35. He's also garnered 11 saves, and in between those 2 games, 8 walks. What are we talking about here?
What are we doing here?
Ray, is this like crazy overreaction to Jose Alvarado in your mind?
Yes. This is beyond crazy overreaction. This is lunacy.
Lunacy,
What we have right now, what we're getting in terms of reaction to Jose Alvarado makes me think that some of these people have been watching a different team. Like, I don't know if you've been sitting in front of your television and actually watching an MLB The Show simulation where Alvarado gets hit around every night in your home, or like you might fall asleep and nod off before Alvarado enters the game. Like, I'm not sure what you've been watching at all, to be honest with you. And not just this year. That's the crazy part. It's not just this year. It's not even just that 28-game stretch. He's been a great reliever for you in Philadelphia for years now. I can't believe we're having the Alvarado. Soto, I understand. Soto, since he came over the trade, his ERA somewhere near 5. If you're frustrated with him, I understand where people be frustrated with him. Don't tie Alvarado into this.
I got to tell you, I am amazed.
Yeah, they're taking 1 or 2 bad outings and like extrapolating into the nerves that they felt in those outings to every outing. Even though he hasn't given them that kind of reaction, it hasn't lent itself because he's been shut down other end. But it's like, oh no, remember when he did that last year? Remember when he did this earlier this year? Yeah. You should always throw out the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
That's a complete anomaly. Whatever that team was doing the first 2 weeks, I don't care. Don't put anything in there. I take it all out.
I really am shocked by this. I thought when Sylvia, our first caller of the day, said, I hate Hefty Lefty, and then we talked her down on it, and we weren't trying to calm her down because she was a female, which some people say. I was just trying to say to her, calm down, because it was her first time calling, and she said she was nervous and bear with me. Sports talk, I don't care if you're male or female. You just talk sports. Who cares? I am shocked at this. Ray, we have other ones?
Yes, we got someone checking in from Delaware saying they think Hoffman will close a little more along with Strom and Alvarado. We have a great problem. We have 3 closers. It depends on matchups. Also, this person's head to Fenway for Wednesday and Thursday with Philly sports trips. Go Phils.
Go Phils.
I tell you, that's a bucket list of mine. I haven't been to Fenway for a game.
Oh.
I've told you the story where I was taking a walk in Boston and a nice security guard took me in and let me walk around, which was awesome.
Great venue.
Yeah, but I do need to go see a game there. And Wrigley. I've only.
You ever been to Wrigley?
I've flown over, like my favorite part of Chicago. Now, normally when you fly into Chicago, you don't go over Wrigley. But when you fly out of Chicago, a lot of times we would go over Wrigley. And no, seeing it, I want to go there so bad. That's probably my biggest childhood memory stadium, because I remember being a little kid in the summer, and they only played afternoon games then in Wrigley, and being like, oh, a summer day at 2:30, a Phillies game? I thought it was the best thing ever. Ray, anything else we got, or?
Yeah, one final text here. Anytime, this is our guy Bill in Utah, anytime you can make your roster be better by adding a player like Luis Robert or Kyle Tucker I think he's going Jake McCarthy here. He says McCaffrey. I don't know. Maybe he's hearkening back to the Amy conversation about adding Christian McCaffrey. I don't know. Without shaking up the lineup, you have to go for it. We're only in June. Lots of baseball left to go. Losses will come. Injuries are part of the game. Hoping for the best, build for the worst case. Billy in Utah.
I hear you, and I am never going to deny always trying to make your team better. My only wonder is, are you okay where you are now? Meaning, like, I'll give Whit Merrifield more of a chance. I hear you. I think Brandon Marsh is going to be a really good hitter.
I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned about the lack of, like, these giant power bats out in the outfield. I don't think I am either. Although that was my one thing I was concerned about before the season began. There's no power out there?
A little power out there, yeah. Like, Marsh, can Marsh hit you 20?
In that range.
If he plays, probably.
He's
but
a teens type of guy, 18 to 20.
Yeah,
like
And last year you had a team that had
20 or more.
That had 20 or more, yeah. So, like, that's probably enough power.
All right, so what are we looking at now? How many do you think they're going to get now, 20 or more? Castellanos will get 20?
I don't know. I heard that brought up. Was it the best show ever yesterday? Maybe Ricky
now?
said it.
He's got
Castellanos, 10? Does he have 10? I thought he was at, like,
10.
6.
No.
Am I wrong? Wow.
Ray can check me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Check. That was an aggressive no by Amy.
I'm pretty sure he had 9 going into.
You're probably
the London
right.
run.
I just didn't appreciate the aggressiveness in which you told me I was wrong. There's otherwise. No, Bob.
He does have 9.
I think
9. Okay, so there you go.
Okay.
So he's about halfway there almost.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No.
You got Castellanos, Schwarber.
Okay.
Obviously Harper.
What's Bohm at?
Bohm hit
11?
like 20 last year.
He's at 6.
Oh, that's
he's
low.
at 6.
Yeah,
Knew somebody had
Somebody's
6.
at 6.
But 20.
That's a lot. No, I don't think he'll get to 20.
All right, JT.
What's he at?
7.
Yeah, give me JT.
Okay.
Scott?
5.
Don't see 20.
No.
We put Harper in there, right?
Yeah.
How
so
much
we're
you
at
got?
4. Castellanos, Schwarber, Harper, and JT.
Give me Beardo. Give me Brandon Marsh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go 5.
All right.
5 with 20. That's fine.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah,
Who knows? Bohm could heat up. I mean, he's not. It's funny because you look at a guy that looks like Alec Bohm and think he's a home run hitter, and he really hasn't ever been.
No.
He's a good hitter.
Yeah.
He's a guy that could, hits for better than average. He's a guy that could win you like a batting title at some point because he's been able to kind of string together those runs. But he's not a big power bat. He's a good hitter.
Do you think there's more goodness still to come from this Phillies team in different ways? So I bring that up because of this. We talked earlier about Trey Turner coming back, and it's like, oh, yeah, ho-hum, here comes your 340, one of the best 3 shortstops in all of Major League Baseball, back in your lineup to get to that 2 slot, who had a string of like 1,082 consecutive stolen bases and all of those things that he brings to the table. Bryson Stott, I don't think, has hit what he really is yet this year. You bring up Alec Bohm. I think there's more power to him. I think there's, he's been great in the RBI department. Last year, he was hitting some home runs, and they're like, oh, you put on some muscle? And he says, no, I'm just still growing. Now, he is 28 years old, whatever. But I think there's some more power numbers to be had from him.
For a guy that size, just the actual physics of it all with the torque, he's so lanky, he's so long, you would think just that alone, not to mention, obviously, his strength, would be able to get the ball out of the park a couple times.
Yeah, especially Citizens Bank Park, right?
Exactly, a hitter-friendly park. So, yeah, I mean, he's at, what did we say, 6?
Yeah.
This year?
6.
That's low. I thought he was going to be a little bit higher than that. I guess I would have put him at 8. But we're not at the halfway point in the season. You've got, 90-something games to go in this one? So I feel like he could get close to it.
Yeah.
I feel like if you get a guy, if he gets you 18, that's pretty good.
And those guys that I just brought up, along with Nick Castellanos, I don't know, could there be better stuff to come from this team?
Yes.
Individually, Stott, Castellanos, Marsh, maybe Bohm. Like, these guys can be, it's not unrealistic at all to say these guys could be better from here on out than they've been in the first 65 games.
Yeah, and I think Bohm is
kind of crazy.
Come back down to earth, but I think he can pick it back up again, right? I mean, he was batting well over 300.
Yeah, he was like at the 320s, 330s.
And you thought, wow, He was going to come back down.
Sure.
I think he can absolutely get back up. It would not surprise me at all if he gets closer to 320 than he does to 290.
Right.
I think that's a little bit more what we've seen from him. Stott, I think, is a better player than what you've seen at the dish right now. I feel like he's, just maybe it's a tweak. Maybe it's something like they need to go. Kevin Long just goes over to him and says, all right, let's really look and see what we're doing. What is it? Because he and Bryce Harper have similar approaches.
Yes, they do.
There's a lot of reasons behind that, but they have similar approaches as far as the not stride, no striding, things like that. Is that something they can work on as far as a tweak? Because you've seen it. He's shown it in spurts. Defensively, he gives you everything, then some. I think out in the infield, but I feel like he has another level probably to have unlock that consistency at the bat for me.
Yeah, Stott's only hitting 242 this year. He's got you some
I think he's a 260-something hitter.
Yeah, so do I. I think he's even better than that. But because of this slow start, he's only got you 6 doubles this year. I could see him doing more of that. I can just see him doing a lot more at the plate, moving here on out. I don't think he's going to finish the year there. I don't think Nick Castellanos is going to finish at 211. I think Bohm can give you some better numbers. Now, he's at 291 now. I'll take that. All day, every day. I'll take that.
I think he's an over 300 hitter.
Yeah, and he's got you 51 RBI. I have no problem with Alec Bohm. I don't know if he's going to be better. He might even fall off a little bit, but he's been absolutely fine now. But it's weird to wonder that there may be even Trey Turner.
Schwarber hasn't gone on any kind of
he hasn't done his June tear yet.
Yeah, I mean he's been his on base percentage phenomenal.
Yeah,
he's been getting singles. We all know how much he walks. He's been doing the other things for him. He just hasn't had that big home run tear that you're used to seeing from him.
It was funny yesterday. The Best Show Ever had a caller, and the guy started out talking about I can't believe they have Kyle Schwarber at leadoff, and Ricky and Tyrone rightfully questioned him what do you mean? They're winning. And the guy was like, yeah, but that's not how you play baseball. And the guy was going on and on and on. And I don't know if it was Ricky or Tyrone. I forget who it was. And he said, all right, well, let me just ask you a question. If you had a leadoff hitter that had an on-base percentage of 357, would you be okay with it? And the guy's like, of course I would. And they're like, that's what his on-base percentage
People
is.
Don't realize
Thanks for the call back.
We
it was
call
funny,
him Schwarber singles anymore because he's just – I know that you're used to seeing him hit bombs. That's what he does. But he gets on base. And the joke we had last year was, isn't it better to start 1-0 than a guy on? And that's when Schwarber, his on base percentage, though good, wasn't as good as it is this year.
Right.
But he would blast a home run. He went 20 or something. It seemed like in the month of June. But no, I mean, they win with him at leadoff. So I know he's not a traditional leadoff hitter, but right now, on paper, he is.
Sure is.
He's getting on base. He's walking. He's getting singles. His on base percentage over 350.
I just go to the wins and losses first and foremost.
They're winning with him. We call him Captain Vibes and Chief Vibes officer as far as Garrett Stubbs. But really, the guy that's in the clubhouse, that's the leader that people look to as far as being a real cohesive person, it's Kyle Schwarber.
Well, I thought it was cool. He and Bohm were in a cab, I guess it was, together.
Was great.
And he said to him, he goes, well, you're a dad. He goes, you're also a dad to us.
Exactly.
And he's like, what are you talking about? No, I'm not. He's like, nah, you are, whether you know it or not.
Guy.
Yeah. Sometimes you just garner that. You might not know it. They're behind your back or whatever. The young kids are probably
he's won at that level. He's played on so many very successful teams. He's a guy that people look to bring in for obviously his bat, but also the presence that he gives in that clubhouse.
Right.
And we talked about how he has that leadership role. He really takes an interest in his teammates, and he tries to learn about them, and that's one of the things they look to him and be like, oh, that's Kyle Schwarber. We went to, he's just that guy for them.
Yeah, and I love how Bohm put out there, you're also a great singer. Because he was in the play group when he was in high school and all that stuff. He was the lead singer. I love that. I love that kind of stuff.
Behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, it always is good stuff. All right, when we get back, it's going to be a first name. Oh. It's going to be the first time ever on this show with me and you that we are going to give away FanFest tickets. That's right. We'll let you know when you can call in and where you can call in. But I have a question that goes along with it, too. We'll decide whether we're going to tie the two in together. But we're talking about days of the year that you absolutely love. I used to call my baseball draft, it's my favorite day of the year. Things change as you get older and all of that stuff. I want to look for your non-Christmas, non-Thanksgiving favorite days of the year. 610-632-0975. We might make it a contest or we may not to let you get a pair of FanFest tickets. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. Welcome back. Middays here at 97.5 The Fanatic. 12:30 on this Tuesday. Hope you're having a good one. I deem it the worst day of the week, the skunked beer of the week, but that's okay. You still got to get through it. Sometimes you take a sip of that beer. You ever do that? You're not a beer drinker, but I like to try different IPAs.
Yeah.
And so I'll go to a bar and I'll look up. And I'm like, I'd never had that one before. And I have a specific time. And they might bring it out. I'll take that first sip. My wife will look and go, what do you think? And I'll go,
I like
it's
the
all right.
places that'll give you. They know, I'm like, hey, how's
they
that?
will, and
they'll be like,
I've had plenty of those places
try that.
too.
Try that once.
But, you take a sip.
Take a chance. You're like, and then you hate drink it.
I'll never say hate when it comes to beer, Aim. Okay,
I've
never.
had hate finish thing. Like I like
Chris Miller. I'm winning your bet here. He says
like
he wanted to have a bet every time I said either beer or short.
I like Bloody Marys, and you'll go some places, and some places
Never
have
had one.
good Bloody Marys, some places don't.
Right.
And I'll order it, and I'm like, I'm gonna hate finish this Bloody Mary
You'll
because
trudge
it's not very
through
good.
it. See, because that's the kind of person you are.
Well,
Aim.
I don't want it to go to waste.
Yeah, you just sometimes you have to trudge through it. You just have to say, man, I really don't like this, but
Yeah, but you have.
I guarantee I'll finish it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let it sit here.
Yeah. All right, Amy, we're talking about a lot of different things today, and we've had some great conversation, which always seems to be the case when you're here.
Oh yeah, well, that's how we roll.
I say that to her, and she doesn't say anything. I was like, okay, great conversation. But
I just wanted to let it go. I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna follow up like
No, I
this.
just wanted you to react,
She
a
was like,
compliment,
great
but whatever.
conversation, like. And I was like, no, he didn't say anything. Yes, you're right.
So
Just like this one.
Exactly. So we brought up September 28th, and that is our FanFest, and it is a lot of fun. And look, I understand if you haven't been there, if you want to downplay it, like, it sounds like I've seen many descriptions about it that I don't want to bring on the air. Trust me, it's a fun day. Like, I would just say, give it a try. And a lot of you have given it a try, and you know
I'm
how much
excited
fun
to be
it
there
is.
for the first time.
Oh, I'm so excited that you're coming. I can't wait for Mopar to be there. He's got a designated driver. He's all set to go. Everybody's roaring for it, so we're ready to roll. I had a little. This is just. So the other day, on Sunday, I said to Donna, I'm like, we're announcing. All right, I did know what the announcement was. I'll admit it.
I
now.
didn't. So great
so,
job,
yes, you
Bob.
did.
Wait, I didn't know anything.
I said to Donna, they're announcing FanFest tomorrow, and she's like, oh, you're kidding? When is it? And I said, I think it's such and such, and she looks at me and goes, you're kidding me. And I said,
Oh, no.
why? We have a family wedding that day. So
How
whatever.
close is the family?
I mean, it's family, but it's far away. Anyway, whatever. I feel bad, and I have to go to FanFest or whatever. So it's something that will work out. We love the people that are getting married, and so that's the toughness of it. But it is one of my favorite days of the year. And Amy, I'm telling you, I can't wait until. We didn't put out the exact times yet. That'll come and all of that because we're working with FanDuel on this. And for everybody that knows about it, last year we had Ray Shrimmerd, right? Was the opening act.
Yes.
And then who was the closing?
Fall Out Boy.
Call Out Boy?
Fallout Boy.
Oh, my.
I was teasing you, Ray. Fallout
No,
Boy was there.
No, that was.
Trust me, my daughter was all over that. She and her friends.
Yeah, she was.
went
She
to
knew
the
it was
con-
Fall Out
I know
Boy.
it's Fallout Boy. Stop it. So next year it's going to be
Call
Chris
out.
Springsteen. So it is just an absolutely wonderful event. I love it. Ray put it perfectly this morning that if ever anything's going, I think it was Ray.
He did.
It
yes.
said if ever
He said,
anything's going wrong
if
here,
things are like maybe it's like not a great day, just period. And he's like, you know what?
I just think of FanFest.
FanFest coming up.
Yeah.
FanFest.
So that's how great of a day it is. There's many days during the calendar year that you look forward to. You might label the best. You have young kids, so Christmas is probably great. I loved looking at Christmas through the eyes of my kids. Thanksgiving has always been my favorite holiday. I love Thanksgiving. Have since I was a kid. Still do as an adult. So we're going to take those obvious ones, Halloween.
Holidays, yeah. Holidays
kind of
out.
wipe them out. What's some of your favorite days of the week? I'm sorry, of the
that's
year.
Thursday.
Yeah. Favorite days, that's why I said it to you, because you and I always say that.
Thursday.
Favorite days of the year.
Non-sports related.
Non-holiday related. It can be sports related, or it cannot be sports
Because I probably
related.
would have two different answers then.
That's fine.
Because there's so many. I mean, sports related for me. There's a couple of them, but like the first full day of March Madness, it's like start to finish. The games start at 12:30 and they don't end until almost, or they don't even start. The last ones will start closer to
Like
10.
10:30, 10:30, yeah.
That's a great full day of like watching a sporting event. I thought the Masters is always must-see TV for me.
And your household would have parties on
Yes.
those Thursday. I don't
March-
know if you still do. I have
We do.
been in the
Yes.
past. I have stopped by.
Thursday and Friday are big. The first day of the tournament is always really big for us. It's a great one. But the other one that I came up was like, if it's not sports related. So my two boys they have birthdays only one day apart. So we have this giant extravaganza.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. October 6th for Shawnee and October 5th, years apart.
All right, so
So you don't need, no one needs to write this
August,
down.
July. So what the hell happens in July that makes you guys so friendly?
What are you backtracking?
Yeah.
Do your math again. It would be January,
Would it be
weirdo.
January?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I went the wrong way.
October.
I went the wrong
I think
way.
I'm a cat in his scenario.
I'm doing your math.
Exactly. Carry the one.
So wait, so you're celebrating my birthday?
I don't
January
know what we're
birthday?
doing. We're not talking about this in any way, shape, or form.
610.
But we have a joint birthday party extravaganza, and it's just bounce houses and tons of people, family, friends, neighbors. Everyone comes over, multiple bounce houses, inflatable games.
That's cool.
Cheesesteak. We grill out. We get a company come and usually grill out or have cheesesteaks or something. And those are my favorite days of the year because we get everybody together. We celebrate the boy. And there's probably not many times for people that have kids that are similar in ages or even if they aren't. You can't always do like a joint birthday party.
Sure.
There's going to come a time where 11-year-old or 12-year-old Sean's not going to want to hang out with his 5 or 6-year-old brother.
Right,
It's just not. It's not feasible after a while.
No.
But this is probably
Those are two really good ones.
yeah, that's because it's an all-day thing. We usually do it somewhere around that Saturday
Right.
before our golf events. We have a bunch of people in town for it too.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah, that's
That's
fun
cool.
one.
I
It's a
love
fun
that.
day.
Ray, what about you? Take away the holidays. It might be a sporting event. It might not be. But what's your favorite day of the year?
Opening Saturday down at the ballpark. The first Saturday home Phillies game.
Is that
get a nice.
It has to be that Saturday.
Yeah, opening day's great.
What if it's like a week after the season started?
it's the first time at Citizens Bank Park?
No, I know. I just didn't know if it had it lost a little luster
No.
since it was a weekend of the season.
They could be away for a month to start the season. And that first Saturday, you give me down at Citizens Bank Park where I'm going to end up tailgating with friends, hanging out, going down to the game, and then obviously being there for the first time. And usually that first Saturday, the energy's there where you might indulge beyond the ninth inning. Yeah, that's usually a fun day for me. Opening Saturday down there at the ballpark, that first home Phillies Saturday, for me, is one of my favorite days of the year.
We've had some responses on our YouTube page, Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Which might even get better. It might come on that weekend now of, what is it, President's Day or whatever? Or,
Yeah,
because
it'll
if
be
it
later.
goes back, one more week, it would be a holiday Monday. So I think that would go a lot better. Now, Ray, if you're going to an opening Saturday Phillies game, it's going to be early April. You're going to have your ears perked up for friends to tell you what the weather may be.
Nope, I'm just going to put on that nice long sleeve Phillies. I got a couple of Phillies jackets. I'll throw that on, and I'll be fine. This year was brutal. They lost that game 12. I think it was 12-4. Nola had a rough start. It rained. It was chilly. Yeah, I had the jacket on. I was able to make it through the entire weather that day. I was all right. Thank you for your concern.
I am always concerned about you. I feel
weather.
bad that, Amy, you brought up what used to be my favorite day, and that
March
was the
Madness.
Thursday, Friday March Madness, because that was so much fun. But maybe
lost
it's
its
my
luster.
age, like when we were younger and stuff, we could either take days off or work our schedule around, going and doing that stuff. But it's also a case of, and, I've talked to this, people that are involved in college basketball.
changed.
It's just changed, and I got to tell you, one of my favorite days last year, looking back on it, was the Big 5 Classic.
That was a fun day.
And it was cool because I walked into the arena that day with 12 of my friends. And it was funny because there were some of my friends that had their kids with them. And I remember going up to one of my friends' sons, Mike, and I'm like, yo, Mike Wheeler, come here, I need you. And I'm like, dude, I got 12 tickets on my phone. I have no idea how to do this. He's like, I got you, Mr. Cooney. Don't worry about it. So he goes
Bring 'em
through
up,
and does it
scan
all.
those.
Yeah, and then we go in and we meet up with people, whether it's through the business or friends for life or guys that you played ball against when you were younger. That was one of my most fun days last year. As far as, non-holidays, non-family and stuff like that. That was a boatload of fun.
That's a good
But I
time.
rank FanFest right up there with it. If you want to chime in, what one of your favorite days of the year, maybe we'll make this a little contest. Give us what your favorite day of the year, non-holiday is, and why. And maybe the best answer we get, we'll give a pair of FanFest tickets too. Give us a call, 610-632-0975. If you had to answer for your husband, what do you think his favorite day of the year, same as you?
March Madness, I think, will be.
Yeah.
He also enjoys that party because, it's a party.
So it used to be easier to get to yours and
because we were in the city. You can still, you know what? I'm going to convert you back to March Madness. You will come this next year and you will appreciate it.
Yeah, but you live like way out in the rich suburbs. We have to take like a train, a taxi, and a plane to get there.
Yeah, well, just jump out of the plane.
I could do that. I make some, sometimes we've done some appearances for the station where we have to go to the airport and, it seems like it. Like, I remember they said, oh, we're going to do something. We're going to do a...
You drive here. It's like 20 minutes past here.
Okay, yeah. Well, so, Ray, it sounds like we're officially getting the invite to Amy and Sean's March Madness
multiple
party.
Times. I've said it multiple times.
All right.
It's still a fun day. I get that college basketball has changed a lot, but it's still fun to watch a team like St. Peter's take down Kentucky.
I will watch, as you know, I will watch a college game any day, anytime.
It's kind of like
anywhere.
You just don't know the players as much anymore.
Yeah, and that bothers me. All right, we're making a change. I'm making a right-hand turn. Fifth caller to 215-263-0975. Fifth caller, Pat Burrell, to 215-263-0975 gets 2 tickets to FanFest.
Oh,
that's
I like
how
it.
we're going to be. Yeah, that's how we're rolling today, Amy. I don't care. Things change. All right, I have some mixed emotions. Usually, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You know where I'm coming from. Usually they're positive. But I have mixed emotions on this. And it's the Eagles' season opener. I'll tell you why, because I've been going kind of all over the place in my head. Some great thoughts, some not so great thoughts. I'm going back and forth in my head. I want to tell you all about them. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, middays. I'm telling you, it's tough. When Tyrone comes in and we have our conversation after our 12:30, yeah, we do. We just lose track of everything because we have such great conversation. Stay tuned for that. You can have great conversation with them also on the best show ever. Coming up at 2 o'clock, Tyrone, Ricky, and Silvana. They are here getting ready for that. Bill in Utah has been holding on for a little bit. Not sure what Bill wants to talk about, but we'll get to him. Bill, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me. Hey, just real quick, I got a kid that's got 2 days apart, too, April 2nd, April 3rd and 4th. So,
there you go.
For the record.
Did you do?
And that is July, so by the way.
Yeah, July. What do you love, the July 4th or something there, Bill?
Oh, yeah, making fireworks. So anyway, so my favorite day of the year is, it's kind of weird, man. Like, I love watching the Stanley Cup being hoisted. Now,
That's
I won't
cool.
watch every game that the Flyers are in it, but in 40 years, man, 40 years, I've never missed the winning team hoisting the cup. There's something about it, the tradition. Who's going to get it first? You know, who gets it second, the pitcher afterward. Just something about it. 40 years, I ain't never missed the Stanley Cup being hoisted. I always look forward to it.
Oh, my God. Bill, that is a great one.
Because
and
it is very
thanks for the call, buddy.
Who gets it first, who gets it last, who gets to skate around with. They're very specific about that.
He just jogged a memory in my head. I swear to God, Aim, I don't know if you saw the look on my face. I was probably about 11, 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
We're watching the Stanley Cup Finals, and I'll never forget this. My dad worked nights, so I'm like lying on the couch, and my mom is sitting in a chair next to me, and we have the Stanley Cup Finals on. And I felt myself kind of dozing a little bit, but I specifically said to my mom, Mom, if I fall asleep, please wake me up so I can see the end of the game. I must have said it 3 or 4 times. I'm like 10, 11 years old. My mom's probably like, yeah, shut up, kid. Just go to sleep. I fall asleep, wake up. She's turning the TV off saying, come on, it's time for bed.
You missed it.
You remember, I've described this often. You remember when you got so like either mad or hurt or whatever when you were a kid that you would get that lump in your throat?
Like you're choking.
I
almost.
swear I remember it like it was yesterday.
So upsetting.
And being like, going up to my room and kicking my mattress. Like, I couldn't yell at my mom because my dad would have killed me. But going up in my room and just pounding my feet enough so that she could hear me that I was so upset. And they're like, keep it down. She probably said, stop carrying on. You know, something like Ray did with the one finger.
Yep.
Now you stop carrying on, you. But oh, my God, he just brought back that memory. I don't even remember. I think the Canadians were in the finals that year. I could look it up. But, yeah, he's right. I remember loved
because it's
watching
such a unique thing.
It's so cool, isn't it?
It's one thing to get the Lombardi, like those are all, but the Stanley Cup is such a unique trophy. It's such a cool trophy, and the history of it, and the order in which they make sure, because we've all seen it. They don't touch any of the other cups.
Yeah,
right? No,
Florida didn't do that
this year. We don't get anywhere near that
touch
thing.
the President's Cup.
I love that kind of stuff, though. That's a good one.
It is. That's a really
well done,
good one.
Bill.
Yeah, very good, Bill. All right, I brought it up before we got into this segment about. I have mixed emotions about this Eagles game. I'll give you my first ones, opening game. My first ones were, it was announced. Whoa, when is it? A Friday night in early September? We've never seen the likes of this. You don't watch NFL on a Friday night, certainly not when the weather is warm. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine here in Philadelphia watching a game in your backyard in a swimming pool, floating, having friends over, their kids over, food all over the place.
That's what
in
we're
the
doing,
backyard.
right?
That's exactly what we're doing.
We're going there.
So to me, it's like, I can't wait.
Yeah,
can't wait to host a party. Like I said, lucky enough to, we got the pool in the backyard. So the kids, everybody will get food. We'll have a great, great time out there. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Then start looking into it. And Brian Westbrook comes into my head, not only from the first show that we had here on Middays when we all got together, but also talking to him at the Brian Dawkins golf outing and him saying the importance of the team getting off to a good start, because otherwise those bad memories from last year linger. Green Bay Packers, they're a good team. Jordan Love, up-and-coming, really good quarterback. You have a secondary that you're not really sure about now, although it's, you hope it's up and coming, but it's still very young. So that started to concern me. Then I see the stories about people talking that wearing green in this part of Brazil is something you can't do because of gang membership down there.
Affiliations with, which is odd because the flag of Brazil is mostly green.
Which is scary as hell. So they're talking about, maybe don't wear green if you're fans of the. Like, who in the holy heck from Philadelphia is going to go to Brazil and not be wearing Eagles green and Eagles stuff?
Especially
all
as much
throughout?
as we love the Kelly greens.
Yeah.
Right?
So then I start to get like that. So now the excitement of having the party Friday night. We never get to watch parties sitting poolside in Philadelphia for Eagles games. No. Having to do that, all great, is kind of getting now overshadowed by the, wow, is it going to be dangerous for people traveling down there? Are the Eagles going to get off to a bad start because they're playing a really good team? Could this season start out badly in what you don't want to happen, like Brian Westbrook said? What are your thoughts on opening day for the Eagles? Have they gone as far as mine have gone or no?
No, I mean, I did read the comments, and I think the NFL actually had to come out and say, like, Eagles fans will be fine. This is one of those things. It's a marquee event. So they're going to try to make it as positive as possible. So I'm not as concerned about the people wearing green. I understand that that's a real thing, and there's places in Brazil that are probably, you shouldn't go. That's true for literally any town.
Sure, and there will be great security there that'll be provided.
But I think out of the gates, you want to have when B. West said it last week when we were with him at the Brian Dawkins golf event, and he was like, listen, it's really important for them to start fast and to play well out of the gates.
Yeah.
Because of, I think for themselves, as much as, for the momentum of going into the season, they want to make sure that there's no carryover, there's no lingering effect of the way that they ended last season. I think on the positive side, it is good that they're going against a tough opponent because it will keep them focused. I like that they're going against the Packers and Jordan Love. If it was the Falcons from the jump, I'd be like, oh, you can just sleepwalk your way through that one. That would concern me a little bit more. Jordan Love is a very good quarterback.
You like the challenge?
I do. I think that keeps you sharp.
All right, good. Ray, where does your positivity, negativity, where is it kind of balanced towards when you look at this Eagles opener, which some of the things I just described, maybe you have a different thought.
I mean, the only thing that I was pretty out on from the beginning was the Friday night and the fact that it was the Packers. Like, to me, those were the two things. I still
Why don't you like Friday night?
I've been telling you this, Bob. I just don't like it on a Friday night.
You're not telling just me. You're telling listeners that haven't heard
and the
you
listeners
say
have heard me
before.
complain about it. I feel bad for the listeners
every 15 minutes.
Well,
don't you know this?
And they
Have you not
probably
been
catch
sitting
the
in on
same 15
meetings?
minutes where I complain about the fact that it's on a Friday night. I just like my Sunday football, okay? Just leave it on the Sunday. You don't need to take over my week, all right? I don't need the Friday night opener. I'm cool with the Sunday opener. And
you don't like to try new things. You're more of a traditionalist.
It's not so much the try new things. Just
don't do anything different.
Leave my Friday night alone, NFL, please.
What else are you doing on a Friday night? Why not enhance it with NFL football?
They enhance every day of the week with NFL football now. I could just go
better.
Follow me with tradition on Sundays. I'm cool with that.
No, this is like when college football did it. You could see action on like a Thursday night. That was great stuff. I loved
BYU
that.
games on Thursday night I always thought
Good
were really
stuff.
cool. I am with you 100%. Like, I love my 1 o'clock Sunday football. I do. I want it all the time. 4:30 I can live with. Sunday night, a little bit more now that I'm on these hours. Monday night, okay, it's great, but it makes Sunday suck. So I'm with you on that.
Well, it's just
however
3 nights. There you go. You got basically half the week.
Yeah. However, given this a try in the circumstances that I laid out, a warm Friday night Eagles game, I want to try it. I want to see what it's like. I want to give it a try. It's like trying a new food for the first time. Yeah, I want to try it. See, maybe I won't like it.
Maybe it'll be like that IPA you tried.
Yeah, but you know what? But I'll struggle through it.
I'll hate finish it.
I also just wanted Jordan Love at the link. Like, I wanted to watch that game.
I forgot how
I
much
hear
you
you.
love Jordan.
I wanted that home. I wanted the home field against the Packers, and 2, I wanted to see Jordan Love at the
Listen, if there's anything we learned from the London series, there's going to be a lot of Eagles fans down in Brazil.
There probably will be, and I hope everything works out greatly for them and all. So it'll be fine. I'm looking forward to it. I just did have those little reservations that have been popping up lately, so I wanted to put it out there. Ray does. Voudreau on the YouTube page says, Bob, you need to invite Ray over to your house that Friday night. I already have. He already has the invite. There's no question about that. All right, when we get back, there's so much on the table today that we'd love to discuss with you. 610-632-0975. There's something different kind of going on in sports that probably has happened before, but I just can't remember it. And it comes to kind of dislike, because I don't like the four-letter H word, hate, kind of dislike of somebody else playing your profession. I want to see if you guys might know what I'm talking about, and maybe if it's more prevalent than I have even acknowledged. We'll talk about that a whole lot more. 610-632-0975. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, middays. I just got a text from my wife. I think I'm in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh,
For
we're
what?
having a party the night of the Eagles game? I wish you would tell your wife sometimes before your audience knows what you're doing. I think I've mentioned that before, that's what I wanted to do, and I think I've told her that also. So
You've mentioned it a couple
not,
times, how much you are looking forward to being in the
I
pool.
think I did. I really do, but I don't know. I just, I feel bad. Anyway, I feel good about this. Jeremy Herr. He's the winner of the
Congrats.
2 FanFest tickets. So him and a friend or wife or spouse or whatever will be coming on September 28th. We hope you're all there too. Look, I will tell you this, it's kind of it's the saying we've had going on at the station pretty much since I've been here. If you want to go to FanFest, you're going to get tickets.
Right, we'll find a way.
That's right. We have so many different ways in which you can find tickets. We will get them to you. I have so many groups of friends that are so nice that they come to FanFest. Like I have to go to our promotions department all the time and say, hey, can I get tickets? Can I get tickets? I feel bad. I think now we do them through email. Before, I used to walk into the promotions. They'd give me 100 tickets and be like, here you go. Have at it. Have fun. But it's a little bit different now. So congratulations. Congratulations to the Eagles, as much like if Boston wins the NBA Finals, the Sixers won't have to go through them next year because the team that wins the NBA Finals doesn't have to get through never goes through the second round. The Eagles won't have to go through the San Francisco 49ers this year because the bad luck has been cast upon them, as Christian McCaffrey has been put on the cover of Madden 25. You can shake your head and discuss all you want at me, Fadul. You know that I'm right on both of these situations.
You're not.
You're not.
That's okay.
Who was on the cover of Madden last year?
I don't know. I've never played Madden.
What?
Maybe like
Ever?
10 seconds.
Not once?
I was not a video game guy at all. Never as a kid, never as an adult. Like we had this, so the basketball courts I used to play that were outside, there was a bowling alley right next to it. So we would play hours upon hours of basketball and then go inside the bowling alley to get a drink of water, and maybe we'd pull out a couple quarters and play some Pac-Man. But that was it. Like I never saw, my parents couldn't afford any video games. My kids, a little bit, like Kyle, my third might be into it more than I know, because I know he's got the whole setup for it. But
Yeah.
I've never really sat down and
Josh
played
Allen.
or watched.
Josh Allen was.
Yeah, and it's not Madden's fault
See?
they didn't get far.
Yes, it is.
No.
Why do you guys neglect to see what's right in front of your eyes?
Well, even if the Celtics don't get out of the second round, that doesn't guarantee that the Sixers. There's 14 teams in this conference that aren't
it's
the Celtics.
guaranteed. I don't know why you
Yeah,
just
that's
can't
not-
accept it,
no.
or why you don't want to foolishly,
I
like
love
I
you
am,
looking-
accepting it.
I love that you're looking for,
Yeah,
for that reason.
I
I'm just
appreciate
trying
your
to
positive-
shed some light on a very dark situation.
Yes, they're going to win a title. I'm going to be upset about it. There is no upside.
There's not upside. I'm just saying, however, ... there's no chance they get out of the second round next year because it hasn't happened.
Well, then you just. Never
And
mind.
then next year we say it's the first time in the last 6 years.
Yeah, wow, look at what they
Look at
did that
this.
no one else did.
All right, as fans of any sport, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, I don't care what the sport is. As fans of sport, you'll probably have your team that you like the most. That's what fandom is, fanatic. You can be a fan of the sport, but you usually go back to being a fanatic of one of the teams. So it's normal to dislike someone on another team. You can dislike, I hate the Celtics. I tried to say dislike, but I hate the Celtics. I admired Larry Bird back in the day when that was at the height of my dislike for the Celtics. I admired his game. I saw appreciation in his game. That's the way I rolled. There was a lot of fighting back then. It was a nasty time in the NBA where Bill Laimbeer and the Detroit Pistons were the bad boys, and it was physical, and it was dirty, and it was tough. Then the NBA changed, and, it's more of a finesse league now. Sports in general, hockey, fighting isn't looked upon now the way it used to be. All of those things tied together. What I'm saying is, as fans, we can find players in different areas that we just didn't like. I didn't notice a whole lot, or maybe I'm just not realizing that I did, that players didn't like each other, and it was very noticeable. The reason I'm bringing this up try to jog your memory if you do remember a player coming into a league that didn't appear to be liked by other players. Because I'm wondering on this, we've seen a lot of this Caitlin Clark stuff going on, and, we've seen a lot of the back and forth with her and on her end. Look, I talked about her for years because I was amazed at some of the things she could do on the basketball court. I also said as many times, I hated her attitude. I hated the way she talked to other players, her shoving people around. I can't stand that. Play your game hard, play it physical, don't be cheap, don't be, arrogant, whatever. Do you think that there are many people, or hasn't been shown since she's joined the WNBA, that she's not liked by people in the league? And is that being read wrong by people? And do you remember someone coming into a league that you perceived as not liked by other players in that league?
First part, I think there's a resentment. And for these players who have also come in, I think it's stronger with the players who've come in this year, last year, recent. The fact that there is so much attention drawn to one player that has yet to prove themselves in any way, shape, or form, did not win a national championship at that level, right? So I think that there's some of that resentment. You see some of that. The Angel Reese will be like, listen, we're here. But you look at some of the arenas that they're playing in, and if they're not playing Caitlin Clark, they're not sold out like they are when Caitlin Clark is there.
So let me ask you, do you look at the Angel Reeses of the world, or if an Ionescu, or if a Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird, when she was about to go in the draft, they were like, all right, you'll see.
They said it.
You'll see.
And you've seen.
How do you feel about that? Because I don't mind it.
No, I love that.
I don't mind that they're like, yeah, okay, but this is our league now.
Yeah.
We built this league. I'm Diana Taurasi. I'm Sue Bird.
You're here
I'm
and you can be the next face of it, but you're not the face of it yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's more of that in the league towards her than there isn't?
Yeah, because they're trying to, from the outside, it looks like they're trying to make her the face of a league that's been around 20 years and it's had success. Instead of enhancing it, I feel like maybe there's people that think it's all about her, and there's some resentment there. And I think Caitlin would probably agree with that. Like, she doesn't want to be necessarily the complete face of the league, X amount of games in.
Yeah.
But I think that she thinks that she's, the old commercial, I got next. She's got next.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. MBDBDF, whatever, on our YouTube says, Caitlin Clark is viewed by her peers as a privileged silver spoon rookie. It's reasonable to treat her as such. I think that's a little too far.
Yeah,
I think
I don't
it's
know
more
that
the
they view it.
athletic part of it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah?
You got to get up to this level.
Yeah, and I don't mind it.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah. Right?
I mean, you're looking at the other players that have done that. LeBron James, when he comes in, people wanted to knock him down a peg. The problem was
they couldn't. He was
Yeah, 'cause it's
245
exactly.
pounds and 6'8", a build of granite.
they wanted to be like, oh, no, we got you. No, you don't.
So that goes to my question, Aim. Do you remember a player going into any league that you thought, like you mentioned LeBron, but that you thought kind of people may have looked at like, yeah, okay, I'll show this guy?
Well, it's a different one. When you first said that, when the people just didn't like him, it's because no one liked him in college. And so when he went to the pros, you knew you weren't going to like. That's Grayson Allen.
Yeah, that's a good one.
People don't like that guy.
No, and I think other players don't either.
He plays the wrong
He's
way.
30. He's 30.
Yeah, he plays the wrong way. But it got me thinking about when we talk about this, the hype coming in. Bryce Harper, over the weekend, it was 15 years ago that he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And he was called the LeBron James of baseball. These are two guys that, and I think a lot of people wanted to hate on Bryce Harper when he first came up. Here's this cocky guy. What did he ever do? Here he is, 19, making his debut as the number 1 overall draft pick. And I think as Philadelphians, we didn't like him when he was with the Nationals.
Right.
Because he comes here and you're like, we were just kidding. We love you.
We hate you when you're theirs, but we love you when you're ours.
But I think there's he came in with a lot of pomp and circumstance, and he had to answer that. I think there's people like that. But as far as like an athlete, not with any expectation, but just because he was such a punk when he played in college, as soon as Grayson Allen, I was like, I don't care. If he came to the Sixers, I would just be like, please, just go away.
That was
Go
one
away.
that I don't think I could have
Go away.
done with. Now, Ray, before I get to you, our YouTube people, Greco, Mopar, being targeted because of the media attention. It's such a narrative now, and I'm not defending because I was more of a media, I consider, when I was a journalist than being on these airwaves. Was she not a story? Like,
Absolutely
I'm sorry.
a story.
So if I'm an editor of a paper or whatever, I'm not throwing out there like, yeah, let's not cover the biggest story. Let's go after. You're always covering the biggest story. Whether you agree or not, Caitlin Clark was the biggest story, I think, in all of college basketball this year. So, okay, do you want to say the media overplayed it and that I don't know. I always look, when you're covering a story, do I come away saying, they overcovered that? I don't know if you can overcover someone that broke so many records as she did. The all-time leading basketball scorer. That's kind of big in college. So I don't know if it was that much. And as I said, I'm not defending because I was a journalist and all before. I think it was the story to tell.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can blame the media there. I do think that's getting to be a little bit over. It's always the media's, and I'm not always. I don't like that word.
It's
always.
a supply and demand. People are
Right?
demanding information.
And did
They're
the numbers not show it?
And they've shown it. The numbers as far as people showing up to watch her, people talking about her, and not just because they're talking about people talking about her. They're talking about her because they want to see what she can do at this level. Because of what the Sue Birds and Dinah Taurasi said. They want to see her at this level. They saw her in college. They all know what a great player she was.
Yeah.
They want to see her at the level where now
They wanted to play against her.
Yeah, it's a much more level playing field.
Yeah.
She was a great player among some very good players.
Now, social media is what Mopar and Greco kind of got back to. Social media and media, that is like oxymorons to me. You know, I kind of hate that the word media is in the social activity of people but I hear what you guys are saying, and I totally understand you. It was an interesting thing that came to my head, like, you're seeing all these things, and people are questioning, do these players that are going against her, do they hate her? Do they want to, hurt her or whatever? I look at it as no. They're looking at somebody that people are anointing being better as them, and, if I'm playing against her, I want to stop her. I want to beat her as much as anybody, right?
I mean, I think people are thinking,
sports.
I think people are thinking, oh, the only reason you're talking about her is because other people are talking about her. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, well, you're just talking about.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, what's the weird thing? She's a tremendous player. The top-selling jersey. Her jersey sold out in an hour. She was
that right?
Yeah, in an hour for the Indiana Fever. It's done.
Yeah, it's an interesting subject, and I know I bring it up probably more than people want to talk about, but it's not just the player. I think it's a sports subject, and this is lending to a big sports subject, and it's on the competition. It's on what does one player mean to a whole game, and then it goes from between the lines to the marketing aspect of it. I just think it's a bigger sports story.
It's a story.
It's a big sports story, yeah. And that's why I bring it up. No, it's not. And that's why I like to bring it up because, as you guys know on the YouTube and Amy and Ray, we just love talking and thinking about things. This is something to think about. And you know who always makes us think when they call the station? It is our man, Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. How are you, buddy?
That's a good lead-in, my man. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Tuesday to you.
Good?
We're great.
Listen, Amy, spot on. Grace Allen is absolutely a silver spoon athlete. Not Caitlin. I mean, I don't know. Jealousy's a funny thing. Anyway, Amy, it was great to meet you last week.
Yes, it was. So glad you stopped by.
You just exude sweetness, and your vast sports knowledge. You have vast sports knowledge. But anyway, by the way, I don't know. I'm sure your husband's a great guy, great father, husband, but I think he outkicked his coverage for you. So I'm with you guys on that Friday night game with the raft, the pool thing. We do have a projector, so we kind of have a little detached barn with a blank wall. We just hit that wall, so that'll be really looking forward to that. So, stop.
Oh, whoa!
We got it. I'm sorry. That's a minute. Too much meandering, Uncle Frank.
Hey, Uncle Frank, I got to tell you, Bob Cooney's hands were by his side. You got zapped by the producer of the show.
I'm sorry. That was a minute of meandering. I don't know where he was.
We were on Fridays. We had a projector. I thought we were
at
get back
the projector.
No, sorry, Uncle Frank. You need to come stronger than that. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say this. I gotta agree with Ray.
Yeah.
We were a little all over the place.
No, we were way all
would
over the
dip
place.
down.
We were way all over the place.
I thought he was going to bring it back when he was talking about the Friday night game, and then he talked about the projector and the pool, and
then coverage and kicking
I was
and
like, what is
husbands.
happening?
And,
Listen, what was on the screen was he wanted to talk Phillies. We went a minute.
Yeah.
There was no Phillies talk.
No Phillies.
It didn't seem like we were going to get to an end there. I'm sorry, Uncle Frank.
You're getting much support on the YouTube page. They agree with the zapping of Uncle Frank right there.
He hasn't been zapped in months. Okay, this has not been.
Well, you know what? I take it personally. I agree with what you did. I thought you and I were doing a really good job of editing him.
You feel let down.
I do. I feel like I let Uncle Frank down almost as much as I let the show down by having him on of 1 minute and 7 seconds of complete nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad because I tried to get the button, and the button didn't quite get him at first. So he actually had to experience the zap and the aftershock of being zapped and then realizing that his time on the show was coming to an end. But I'm sorry. Uncle Frank,
don't be sorry.
Got to come stronger than that.
Yeah.
You just do. You got to give me at least,
Hey, guys, great to hear from you, Amy. Good to meet you. Boom, get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started to go into out-kicking coverage. He's never met Sean. I think you out-kicked your coverage.
I would agree.
Yeah, no offense there. But,
wow,
all right,
I don't think we need to, there's no coverage we need to talk about here in terms of kicking.
Oh,
I think
nice.
the meandering here is more the issue for me. He hit 3 different topics that had nothing to do with the Phillies.
You're exactly right. No question about it. All right, a couple of texts on days that people like, because we talked about that earlier. Non-holidays, might be sports days, something else that you truly love. We have a couple texts on it, Ray?
Yes, we do. We have a couple texts on what you were getting into there. Mike from Turnersville checking in, agreeing with Amy in the opening rounds of the NCAA tournament, but also pretty cool tradition here amongst friends. Wild Card Weekend always goes up to the mountains.
Good one.
With friends, take a lot of food, beverages of choice, and cigars, and then watch the 5 games.
Did we get a name on that?
Mike from Turnersville.
I think I know who that is. That's
Wild Card Weekend's great. There's a lot of people I know that have like a Wild Card Weekend kind of like get together.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We never did. We used to do a boys' golf weekend. We used to go down to Virginia Beach and do that. But that's pretty cool, doing a guys' weekend or a girls' weekend going and watching first week of football playoffs. I like that. What else we got?
All right, we got Jay from Bristol checking in saying FanFest, but also on top of the FanFest is just the random Saturday barbecue that happens on its own. So not necessarily a scheduled day out there, but anytime you get the random barbecue thrown together is one of Jay's favorite days.
Yeah, unscheduled days are always
like an unscheduled get-together. You decided like, hey, it's nice out.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a happy hour.
Yeah. What else we got, Ray?
We got Jamal Hutchinson checking in. Favorite day of the year, opening day for the Eagles. The local Acme is always popping that morning with Eagles fans.
It is amazing because sometimes we usually do our shopping on Saturday. Sometimes there will have to be a little Sunday stop. Man, it is a madhouse on Eagles Sunday. It's cool because you're walking around, you're seeing just nonstop Eagles paraphernalia everywhere. Hats, jerseys. Some people are still in their pajamas.
Doesn't the Acme have like a thing you get like 10% off if you wear Eagles on and you're shopping on game day?
Oh, maybe yours does. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I thought that was a thing.
Wow. Could be. I don't know.
Maybe that's why you see it sometimes. But yeah. People generally just wear it game day Sundays.
Yeah, I switch back and forth between an Acme and a ShopRite. I do the both of them.
All right.
So
and also Sam's Club for you.
Yeah, Sam's Club is a big hit on the Saturdays. All right, when we get back, we have a lot more to talk about. We can rehash some of the stuff we did already, but I also want to do some ranking stuff with Amy today. We're going to rank some things in the area, see where it may fall, see if you agree or disagree. If you have anything you want to talk to us about or text to us about, 610-632-0975. We take you up to the best show ever at 2 o'clock. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. 1 o'clock hour is brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors. For equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job, visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. We have some not-so-great breaking news.
Now, breaking sports news from 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
We first saw this from Matt Gelb. It is now out there on the Phillies Twitter account. JT Realmuto placed on the 10-day injured list, retro to the 10th, which was yesterday, with right knee pain. Matt Gelb has it. He will have right knee surgery to repair a meniscus issue tomorrow. So that is surgery scheduled tomorrow for a meniscus surgery for JT Realmuto. To fill his spot on the 26-man roster, they have Rafael Marchand called up from AAA. So he's scheduled to undergo right knee meniscectomy. I don't even know how to. I guess that's a repair just of the meniscus.
Yeah, interesting. I'm gonna just throw out a text. Hopefully, get an answer before this show to someone. But
What, like how long?
Like what it all entails, yeah, and what it might be. But the we talked about, our worst fears with the Phillies are really minimal, aren't they? The third left-handed pitcher out of the bullpen, the backup catcher.
I hate that I said that out loud.
One of them has just come to light now, and that Garrett Stubbs obviously is going to be thrown into that lineup. They have recalled Rafael Marchand, as you said. He was also called up. Was that taxi squad, would you label it?
I think he was the 27th man, so I think you got 27
you had
players.
Two extra guys, right?
One.
Oh, I thought
26-man roster. Yeah.
26.
Right. I thought when you went to England, you had two and then taxi guys.
2 taxi guys and then the 1 extra guy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So, I can't imagine 10-day
I think it just depends on what.
meniscectomy.
Yeah, I didn't know how to. Meniscus surgery, we'll go with that. I had a very, 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 very small tear in my meniscus, but I don't, I'm not a catcher. That's obvious. We remember when he had the knee pain. Obviously, it had been bothering him recently, though it's hard for it to show the way that he plays. So he must have had it checked out, and there was enough to deem a surgery is needed because it's not always needed. Joel Embiid, obviously, he had a meniscus surgery on his left knee at the end of the season.
And that was 3 months, little over
37 and change. He missed a bunch of games.
All right.
Yeah.
But how much
3 months.
time was it? Almost 3 months?
It was like 2.
Now, we're not comparing the surgeries.
That was like a 6 to 8 week, and I think his took, that's a completely different physicality, position, everything, jumping, all the other stuff. But obviously the bending down as a catcher is something that when the knee comes into play. And when he was coming back and Stubbs played 3 games in a row, and I remember it was the second game of that when you're hoping that he was going to come back, and we saw him wince when he was kind of down, taking that. That was, 2 months ago or a little over a month ago now. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure Rob Thompson will speak on it today when he addresses the media before the game, somewhere in the 5:30, 6 o'clock range or whenever he usually speaks an hour or so before the game. So it'll be interesting. It could be a couple of weeks. A surgery is not a 10-day injury to me. But I thought it was interesting that they put him on this. But there's progressions that they have for this. 10 days versus then they have to shift things around and whatever else is they can put them on longer injured lists.
Good job by you carrying that while I was sending out.
I know what you were doing.
Sending out a text to my trainer friend about this. So, your first reaction, I'll ask both of you. Ray, I'll start with you. You hear an injury to JT Realmuto. First of all, it negates a conversation we had earlier. Trey Turner, welcome to that number 2 spot. You're back in there. Yeah, exactly. But initial reaction, Ray, it's not going to be good, but if you can do an overview of what you have, what's it mean to you?
You've got a 9-game lead in the division. You're at 25 games over 500. Thank goodness. That's the first reaction to this one. It's obviously not great for the team. I thought, honestly, going into this offseason, I was wondering, we all know what Stubbs brings in terms of eyes, but if Marchand was going to be the one that ended up being the second catcher, just because I thought that they were going to elevate him within this organization. I thought that they at least would have that conversation. It didn't seem like that ever happened. So I'm at least intrigued to see what you're going to get out of him. If I can start to try and look at what the reality is, and it obviously is brutal. I can't pretend to say I've looked at all at the catching market of what that would be if you wanted to bring someone else in here. Just the short term, I mean, you're taking a massive hit out of production out of that catcher spot, and really a massive hit in production in terms of this lineup. I mean, now you're down 3 of your regulars, and you're expecting to get Turner back, but without Turner, Marsh, and Realmuto, it's gonna be tough.
Marsh should be soon also. I'm sorry,
right?
Okay.
But I mean, for the immediate near future,
right,
you're without a few guys, and even just looking up, I'm not a doctor, don't play one on TV, won't play one on radio, but when I look at just some of these, what the recovery timeline is to get back to sports for. I'm not even going to try and pronounce whatever the
meniscectomy.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. I don't want to end up on the last week report. No, I think you nailed it. I think you're the professional there. You got it right.
Sure.
But for sports returns, all the websites, whatever things that I'm trying to scroll and read right now, 3 to 6, 4 to 6 weeks to get back to sports, and that's not necessarily catcher specific. So
yeah,
you could be in this situation for quite a bit. If there was a time for it to happen, now's the time.
Yeah.
But it also explains why Stubbs ran in London.
Yeah.
I thought of that immediately. Amy, you're I'll give mine, but your reaction to this, like off the top of your head, first things that
first
come.
one was like, that sucks. Like, really? Like,
sure, it does,
everything's and what he means to this team, not to mention the bat, and we were talking about how well he'd been hitting in that 2-hole, but defensively, how he manages the rotation and everybody in the bullpen, his ability to throw guys out regularly at second base. And just the overall vibe that he gives this team, the leadership role that he fills, not having him in that lineup is tough. But something that Ray said that I was like, absolute. My second thought was, at least it's right now. Right? You have the All-Star break coming up. There is time. My mind went to when it was the Joel Embiid, and I think his was like 8 weeks total, a completely different injury as far as what it meant to that type of player. But if you're thinking about it, okay, 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, then you're looking at, okay, well, August. Not ideal, but not the end of the world. If it happened in August, then you're thinking October. And that's not what you're looking for.
Does 45 and 20 come into play, too?
Absolutely.
Now, okay, because we've been around sports for a while. I have, a lot of people that I trust when I go to medical situations that, you can call them sources, whatever. I'll bet you some of them will come back to me and say, yeah, he could play through this.
I'm sure. And that's initially when you have a meniscus tear. That's why I'm interested to hear from Rob Thompson, because there had obviously something had gotten bad enough that they looked at it and thought, once you tear a meniscus, usually, from what my knowledge has been, you can't keep tearing it. It's torn, that's it. There's not a lot of blood flow in the meniscus, so it's hard for it to repair on its own. So either you play through it or you have surgery to patch it back together. A lot of times you can have things that heal on their own because there's a lot of blood flow in the body. That's how it works. Not a lot of blood flow. Dr. McPhillamy is who treated me for my meniscus, and he was like, this is why. Mine was small enough. I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not even a Saturday athlete. I'm a nothing athlete, and it's been fine. So it'll be interesting. So it must have been bad enough, hurting him enough that they thought, let's nip this in the bud. We don't want it to come back to bite us. Get it taken care of, and then in 6-8 weeks or whatever the timeline is, I do not know.
Yeah.
Then it'll go from there.
And the reason I said that about could have played, I'm not saying he could have played with it or it would have been comfortable. I have talked to people in the past. These are, people in major sports, trainers, that have said, look, if we were to take x-rays of all of our guys' knees, almost all of them are going to show a small meniscus tear. And you can play through things. You can also, go the route of let's take care of it now and hope that, that's the best way to go. The only reason I said to you, does 45 and 20 come to play in it? Do you think there could be a possibility of, had they been, I don't know, second place team, had they been, let's put them where the Braves are, and this happens, could Realmuto, knowing who he is, come back and say, no, I'm okay, I can go through it? Maybe this is more of a case of, look, now's the time, we have the money, meaning, the money of 9 games up. Yeah. Let's get this nipped in the bud.
You have the win capital in your favor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's a shame. I do. I feel bad about this. Obviously, anybody does. I feel more bad about it. Like, he's 31 years old. I told you, if I was a player in
He
that
was going to be an
clubhouse,
all-star, I thought. I thought he had a good chance to be an all-star.
but if I'm a player in that clubhouse, that's the guy that I look up to. Now, here's another weird thing about it. Yes, we pointed out on this show, because I think we watched it, Ray. The Phillies had an afternoon game, and he was off that day, but he was catching warm-up pitches, and he turned, and he kind of made a face. But that was the only instance we saw. He was back the next night. I haven't seen him limping. I haven't seen anything noticeable during his play since then that is like, Joel Embiid, let's take an example. You'll see the bend over at the waist. You'll see the grasping of the knee. That's an extreme. Other players, you will see something make you say, oh, is there something going on there?
Back.
We haven't really seen that. Have we?
No. Aside from that one, and this is a guy, and I feel like sometimes you don't watch players for that, but if anybody, you've been watching Realmuto a little bit more because he's taken a lot of hits, just in the normal catching position. We all know the ball flying up, flying down, whatever, and you're watching him, I think, a little bit more keenly, and you're thinking, is there any? I haven't even thought about the knee since he came back. We looked at it the next day when he came back after showing that wince when he was trying to kind of get out of the catchers and readjust the catcher's position, and you thought, ooh, you don't want that to linger, and then he was fine. It seemed fine. I don't remember thinking I felt like we watched him pretty closely the next day, knowing that he had just had that wince, and it was like, okay, well, I guess he's just. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. He's tough, so I guess he's been tough. Yeah, I guess he's just been playing through it. I guess more pain there than we knew. First thing that the team's going to miss that pops to your head without him? Leadership.
How about you, Ray?
I mean, all the production for the catcher spot. Like, Vibes guy is now catcher one. Like, he's now the guy that's going to be catching in that spot. It's going from a guy who's got a decent amount of pop, who at least has put together some really, really good offensive seasons for you, and right now is catching, a pitching staff that's having the best season we've seen in years, to someone who's, hitting 170, and it just isn't. Yeah, it just isn't. Like,
everybody's been able to pick up everybody on this team.
You guys didn't even mention mine. I close my eyes and I see that the graphic put up on TV last week that 4 of the top 6 pitchers in the National League with ERAs are from the Phillies, low ERAs. I'm sorry, a lot of that has to do in my book with JT Realmuto.
He calls a great game.
Yeah, and he frames a great game, and there's a comfort there, as we all know, pitchers with their catchers.
They have to go out and get one.
This, I guess, right?
You got to go out and get one. If it's 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or whatever this is, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. Tough one. Real tough one. Sorry we had to bring you the news, but that's what we do.
Breaking news.
We are the station that breaks the news and talks about the news. So if you missed it, JT Realmuto having a meniscectomy.
Yeah. Meniscectomy.
Thank you, Aim. Don't write that down, Ray.
Surgery of the meniscus.
Surgery of the meniscus.
Right knee. Tomorrow.
The surgery is tomorrow. We haven't heard a time frame. I have a text that I'll get to during the break that'll maybe clear things up for us a little bit from a trainer in one of the major sports leagues. So we'll get back to all that and more. We're going to close this out, take you to the best show ever. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Back middays as we get some news, not great news, kind of bad news about JT Realmuto having surgery tomorrow, a meniscectomy that he'll have done on his, which knee?
Right.
Right knee, right knee. To fill the spot on the 26-man roster, catcher Rafael Marchand was recalled from AAA Lehigh Valley, texted with a trainer in professional sports. I was told that injury is 4 to 6 weeks. It is a partial removal of the meniscus versus repairing the meniscus. I said specifically it's a catcher, and this person got back to me, yes, 4 to 6 weeks. So that's what we're looking at. Amy being the you could have been a detective. If you so choose, you could have been anything you wanted, Aim.
Thank you.
But you did some math on this as far as calendar goes. This is interesting to me.
It is.
So go ahead and tell us what that 6-week mark looks like.
Right. So you're looking at, I was counting up the weeks and I was like, week 5 of this 4 to 6 week potential is All-Star break. Week 6 is the first week after All-Star break. The 22nd week, 21st, 22nd.
So I think that's one of my questions to Rob Thompson. Was
this planned?
Yeah, because to me, it looks like it was. You're just done an England trip. You take him out for a pinch runner in that inning. Is that like all right, buddy, take your rest now type of thing?
We'll announce the surgery.
Yeah, we'll get back to the States. We'll announce the surgery. We'll see after the All-Star break. This is the perfect time to do it. We have a 9-game lead. Everything's good to go. It's that minor. I think that's looking at the very, very positive side.
Because you're looking at the timeline, you're thinking 6 weeks, that's July 21st week. That's a pretty good timeline. Even if you want to go 8 weeks, you're looking at the first full week of August. There's still 2 full months of the season, all of August, all of September to go after that as far as the regular season goes. That's even on the grandest, 8-week scale. But really, the end of July, I think, is a really good scenario. So when you're thinking about, and the first question, is this the lingering injury from earlier with the knee? We saw him miss some time. And I think the answer, my assumption is going to be yes. It's been lingering, and we just thought, all right, we had it checked out. They thought you could, because as you mentioned, you can play through meniscus injuries. With a catcher, I'd imagine it's quite tough, and clearly he's been playing through it. Because of the wear and tear on the knee, the pressure on the knee that they feel a lot. So, yeah, the timeline looks, if there was ever a time for it to happen, it's not great, but this isn't the worst timing.
Yeah, so we hate to take you out of a show with that bad news, but that's where we are. 4 to 6 weeks, it looks like JT Realmuto will miss with the Phillies with meniscectomy going on in his right knee, meniscus problem that it looks like he's been carrying around for a little bit. The timing, as Amy said, seems to be perfect. Everything worked out okay. The goodness that I'm going to look at is, he wasn't showing that many signs of being injured. So go in, get this done. Fingers crossed. Best of luck to JT Realmuto. We take for granted athletes getting operations.
Right.
It's still an operation, so good luck to him. All right, stay tuned for the best show ever. They're coming up next. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same place, 10 o'clock.